It's time to get locked in, ladies and gentlemen, because you are now tuned into the Screaming Idiots Show. Welcome to the Metal Brotherhood.
No discipline for the wicked. No medicine.
What is up, my fellow Screaming Idiots? It is Monday, November 6th. Welcome back into the sanctuary. Glad to have you all back in here. We got a guest in studio we're going to get to in just a second, but I want to plug a couple things real quick. First off, thank you for continuing to ride this train with us. We appreciate each and every one of you so much. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers, all of our followers, subscribers on all of our social media platforms. Thank you so much. Speaking of that, it is Monday, so we're going to do a little Mailbag Monday.
Monday, November what? 6th?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little Mailbag Monday. You know, we get a lot of you guys send stuff in to us via social media, comment on YouTube videos, things like that, and offering, very, very kind and friendly advice. So got a comment from a YouTuber on one of our season 5 episodes. And this comes to us from @JamsBro1.
Damn.
He says,
I
and
love
I quote,
jams.
"This has got to be the worst visual setup for mics I've seen. Lower them. Put them to the side. Put them behind you. This looks like a video of 4 mic stands with dudes somewhere in the back."
That's what it is.
To which we responded, "Thanks for the feedback, incredibly kind sir." Couple things, James, bro.
This is our podcast.
First off, this is our podcast, now it's your podcast. Second of all, it's a podcast! It's not meant to be this big visually appealing thing. We do the video just so people will have something to look at if they choose to look at it. I don't give 2 flying fucks what it looks like. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Pretty simple. So,
I recommend Apple Podcast anyway.
yeah. Oh, you know, there's this other thing called Spotify that I hear is pretty popping these days for these young kids. So, there's also that. There's also Pandora. There's also Amazon. There's all kinds of stuff. So, James Bro 1, go fuck yourself. Tony Tipton, how the fuck are you, man?
I'm good.
Good to have you.
I'm doing better than the guy you just.
Yeah, well, you know, it's fine. He
makes jams, bro.
He actually uploads like 30-second video game clips. I'm that big of a piece of shit that I'm like, yo, is this like a big time influencer that actually like means something? No, he's just some scumbag kid. So, you know. But
He's
anyways,
a badass, isn't
yeah, he's probably a badass. He's melting kids on Fortnite like I do, you know.
he? I don't play. I don't know.
Tony, I know we've been wanting to get you in, just hadn't been able to schedule it out. Finally, was able to make it work, and glad to have you in, dude. So thank you. First off, thank you so much for giving us
Thanks
the
for
time.
having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Tony, Tyler, you can give a much better introduction to Tony than I can, simply because you kind of feel you've probably known him your whole life or most of it. So if you want to,
Yeah, this is Uncle T-Bone. For those who didn't know, this man once upon a time wiped my ass. So he tells me once in a while.
Can we get an age when that happened?
2 years ago.
There are statute of limitations on some of this stuff.
But yeah, Tony's someone I've always looked up to music wise. Friends with my dad, old Special Ed. Basically known him my whole life, and
Yeah.
So Tony,
so you're getting
Since
old,
day
man.
one for you, buddy.
You're getting old.
Yeah, I am.
getting old. How old are you, Tony?
46.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine.
You don't have a beard on
and
you,
I was gonna
guy.
say that's an impress. You look like fucking 36 with that beard, bro.
Cool.
It's an impressive, not a gray hair in that, man.
Well, there is. You just peel it back.
Yeah,
on.
you
pull the
just
curtains.
trim it right.
Pull the curtains.
Trim it right. and
Just
you'll
for
never
men,
know.
yeah, just for men.
That's
what it is.
Never know.
So, Tony, currently, you know, obviously we know you're in Johnny Lawless.
Yeah.
How long have you been with them?
Just about this December will be a year.
Okay, I thought it was fairly new, but I didn't want to make an assumption because we saw you. When was that? I guess no, maybe you weren't with him then. You ever played Toodles with him?
No.
No, he
Okay.
wasn't with him then.
Okay,
No.
I
They
was.
had that dude with that sweet ass Rickenbacker.
Oh
and it
yeah,
was-
Chris Wells.
God, that
I
thing
know that
sounded
name.
amazing.
Yeah,
I was
man.
not
Solid guy.
sober,
Cool guy.
so yeah, not sober, so I couldn't.
Neither
remember.
was I, but I seen that bass and I was like,
Yeah.
So, Tony, give us a little, you know, start to finish. You know, how did you kind of get started in music? Where did that passion come from? And give us the rundown of how you get to where you're at today.
Well, what started it for me, I don't know, 8 or so, and I'd walk home from school, and we lived in apartments, kind of some ghetto apartments in Jeffersonville.
Hell
oh yeah.
Your dad knows where it's at. We've all hung here. But anyways, my neighbor Kenny Dean, you know Brad Dean and all them guys,
I
Craig and
think
all of
so,
them.
yeah.
Well, their dad
Okay.
lived right beside me, and I'd always hear him playing his guitar out the window. So I'd walk up and I'd hear it, and I'd be like, "Man, he's playing stuff on the radio. Holy shit!" So I'd sit on the little playground and just listen to him. And then it got to be where it was, you know, he played all the time. So, you know, every day or so, you know, come home from school, I'd just sit there and my mom would open the window. "What are you doing?" And I was just, how can you not want to come out here and listen to this? You know what I mean? Like, this guy's playing, it sounds just like the radio.
Yeah.
It was just amazing to me for some reason to hear somebody, you know, you're little,
Yeah.
just blows your mind. Well, my mom knew him, and I didn't really know him all that well. And you know, Brad was, man, he couldn't have been but a year old, if that. But she worked it out for him to, you know, for me to go over there and meet him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he was the coolest guy ever. Like, he's like, "Here, man, here's my guitar and my amp. Take it home and play with it." And I'm like,
What?
"What? Are you kidding me?" You know what I mean? Like, really? He said, take it home, play with it as long as you want. Just come and get me when you're done. I'll come over and get it. So I just sat there and just didn't know what the fuck I was doing
Right.
for fucking hours and hours and hours, man. And then by the end of the hour, I was just kind of picking little things out, you know.
Right.
And
You find some things.
yeah, you know what I mean. Luckily, he had a double locking setup, so I didn't knock it out of tune or
Right.
nothing. You know what I mean? I think it was a Series 10 guitar. But anyways, it went from that to him showing me some stuff, and then my mom bought me my first guitar, the Harmony, for Christmas. And then, you know, later on, she ended up, a year later, I just got to where that's all I cared about. My grades and stuff started to suffer. But who gives a fuck? I was learning the guitar.
We ain't here to play at school.
That ain't rock, dude. Good
I mean,
grades. Fuck that.
I mean, since when has a good report card got you a piece of ass over being able to play a fucking lead on stage?
Right.
Come on,
Right.
guys.
Fuck the report card.
Yeah,
Report card.
So anyways,
Yeah, you can't fuck a report card. I mean,
exactly, literally, you can't fuck a guitar, but you can use a guitar to fuck. So
in more ways than one.
right. So you know, back to that, she bought me my first nice guitar, a Charvet, and then ended up trading it for an Ibanez, like I was telling you know Preston, about a year after that, and I got to where I just got obsessed with playing, and then at about the age of 13, I got in a lot of trouble. I was a little fat kid, and I was running around with the wrong crowd, and we decided to break into the school. Well, I couldn't fit through the window, so I had to wait outside.
I didn't
So
mean
this-
to laugh. I didn't.
No, it is funny. 'Cause, you know, everything back, you know, from those days was smaller. You know, like
Right.
all the airplanes at the Air Force Museum. You see them fucking cockpits,
I'm still
man?
that little fat
They're
kid.
small.
They're small. So I wasn't getting in that window. So he comes out and he just starts handing me shit. And the shit he's handing me is the most ridiculous fucking things.
Pencil sharpener.
Yeah, pencil sharpener, a VCR, a dust buster. So
Like
Yeah.
like Steely from fucking Rick and Morty. I'm just gonna steal a couple things.
yeah. So we're walking back and
6.5 grapples. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But ultimately, what got us busted was we wrapped all that shit up and gave it to our parents for Christmas. So my mom's in front of like her
What the
boyfriend's
fuck?
family and everybody, and she unwraps this dirty fucking Black & Decker dustbuster. And I'm over here all proud and shit because I'm like,
Check that shit out, Mom.
yeah, I'm like, wait till she opens this up. You know what I mean? She
Right.
opened it up and she just fucking had this same look that my grandpa and grandma and everybody gave you with that eyebrow up. I knew I was fucked. So she called the cops.
No
Then
shit.
shit.
She called the cops. Yes, she did. And I'm glad she did because musically, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Ooh.
House arrest for 1.5 years.
Damn.
Probation.
You were how old again? I'm sorry.
I was 13.
Okay.
And I went from being pretty good for my age to jamming with guys in their 40s
Oh,
within 1.5 years.
Because you're stuck at home.
Stuck at home. And that's all I wanted to do. I was like, I'm going to be a fucking rock star because it just came easy to me for some reason. I don't know why. Nothing in
House
my
arrest.
life
That's
ever
metal
has.
as fuck.
Yeah, so I went from there, and then I got to jamming with people, meeting them, playing with everybody, and then all the people in Jeff, your dad, and everybody, and it just kind of went from there, man. And it just kept progressing over time, and now here I am. I'm old, and I'm not a fucking rock star. So give up on your dreams.
Give up
Just
on
saying.
your
Should have robbed a gas station, I guess.
I should have got the good report card.
so I'm curious. At 8 or 10, or I think you started when you were 8, right?
Rough, yeah, 8 or so, roughly.
Do you felt like at the time you knew you had a musical ear?
Not at first.
Okay.
It was after he loaned me his guitar, and I started figuring out maybe the mechanics of it, I guess, and got to where I liked being able to figure out the sounds, like
Okay.
from a song or something or a tape I'd put in, and that's how I learned a lot of my chops was just developing my ear,
Yeah.
being on house arrest and getting my favorite tapes and just learning front to back, solos and everything by ear. I didn't have to. We was poor. We didn't have no tab books. I couldn't afford none of that shit.
I want to comment on how different of a learning experience you had, considering we had YouTube, but like
Yeah.
YouTube didn't really become like helpful until a little bit later
Till,
on.
like college.
I had
bro.
my dad, but like you're fucking recording little tapes.
You
on
had your
little-
upstairs
off the
neighbor.
radio.
That's it. That's it.
And then you're just like going by ear,
Yeah, there was
just
no
raw dogging it.
there was no YouTube because my neighbor, he played different stuff than I was into. You know what I mean? He showed me a few things, and he was kind of, and I'm glad because he kind of did what I do with people. It's like I'm gonna show you the basics, and fly on your own. If you got it, you'll stick with it. If you don't, you don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's one of the
Right.
things. And luckily it was something I was into. So yeah, it was. But that was the best thing, developing my ear, because like my daughter, extremely talented, plays multiple instruments. But I mean, without her sheet music, she's useless.
Yeah.
And I was trying to teach her, but I don't think she cares that much to,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Be good without it.
Right. But I'd just sit down and just learn like overkill tapes. All the first, at this time you're talking, this was 19, I don't know, maybe 88, 89, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 90. So here I am jamming to the first 4 Metallica albums, front to back, note for note. I could just hear it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I could just hear him, and I just find the little parts here and there, and it's like, oh, well, this is what he's doing. Then after a while, you started you'd hear a lot of repetitive shit to where it was just like, you hear it two or three times.
Start
Like,
to
Yeah.
find the patterns.
Fuck
yeah.
this.
Yeah, I know where
Yeah.
this is at already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, there was no. I mean, I might have been pretty decent if I had YouTube and shit back then. You know what I mean?
Right.
At this day and age, but
It's crazy.
nowadays, man, people.
it is insane.
Yeah, if you got any kind of music capability at all, then the fucking world is your oyster, man. With what's available to you,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
insane.
Like that Spark over there,
Oh yeah,
having something like that when I was a kid, when I would just be sitting at home, nothing to fucking do, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be hanging out with my fucking sisters and shit, because they're fucking bitches. But
Damn.
I'm allowed to say that, but nobody else is. But yeah, like if I had something like that, I'd have played so much more, and I probably would have gotten into electric a little bit more too. I normally just grab the acoustic.
yeah. I mean, that's how I practice at home. I mean, I got stuff at home, but I just grab an electric guitar and I don't plug it in or nothing. I just really, because for me, it's I I try to be articulate as I can with scales and everything. So I just got a little, metronome app on my phone. And I set it on my bed.
Gotta have the metronome.
And it's like, at that point, you have just an electric guitar that's unplugged. There's nothing to help you cheat.
You
There's
just hear
nothing.
the clicks of the
You
string.
got to
Yeah.
pick it all out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, that's the best discipline as far as.
Tony, can you tell the listeners how important it is to play with a fucking metronome?
It's how do I say this? Because I agree with you from a huge aspect. Timing is everything, you know what I mean? But I think you should be able to feel timing.
Right.
I don't think you should use it as a crutch, kind of like what we were saying with the sheet music. Some people you just walk up and pull it away and they're fucked.
They're fucked.
They're
They're
not
just
an
like, what?
artist anymore.
Can't play anything, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But sometimes a click track like recordings I've done, it's sucked the life out of the band, but other times it's improved the band. So really, I think it's important, maybe for practicing, but I think also when playing, with a band or something, it's cool to kind of run off the rails a little. I think for recording, it's pretty necessary,
Right.
unless you got a solid band that you really ain't gonna have
Just
to do any kind of
knows each
editing.
other.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Kind of like band that's been together for fucking 20, 30 years, and they're just like you go see them live and they're just insane. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, holy shit. And that's not taken away from any other bands at all.
I
It's
just think at least in practice, it is very important
Yeah.
to get used to being able to play with a metronome.
it really like from like scales and stuff, like from a lead aspect, it kind of makes it to where it locks you in, so you're not rushing notes or cutting notes off. You know what I mean? It's good for that.
But like when you practice with it, it makes it a lot easier to feel it later on.
Right, and you can kind of
So when you get with
fluctuate
the
a little bit.
band and everything, like if everyone on their own is practicing with metronomes and they come together, there's a good chance they're going to find themselves in time with each other.
Yeah, you're right.
Whereas like if you ain't got that timing,
I think for me the
and
most.
then you try to jump in with a band, it's
Oh yeah.
so bad.
And I have heard that, but I mean I think for out of everybody musician wise, I think drummers are the most important people that should practice with a fucking metronome. You know what I mean? Just because how many times has any of you guys ever played with drummers? And I'm not saying current. I'm just saying just in general in your whole music endeavors that would rush into like the next part, cut a fill off too short or something like that. You know what I mean? That just sounds fucked up.
Rush certain parts.
To me. Right.
I'll tell you what, Scotty's come a fucking
Scotty
long
has,
way.
man. Scotty has.
When we first started playing with him, because he was so used to playing like straight fucking thrash metal and just metal in general and
Yeah.
playing like as fast as he fucking can all the
Yeah.
time, he started playing with us, and then it was like slowing him down was hard, and then you got him slowed down, and there'd be like fills that he would try to rush, and
Right.
it was rough, man. But we learned to play with it is the crazy thing. So that when we would go into a studio and try to get on a metronome, it was so bad.
Well, but that also comes where discipline
And then you added
like
me the
Yeah,
well,
fucking
you
whole
didn't think about shit like that. When you guys got
When-
Scotty,
when we
you was what
first-
15,
I was 15 when we first
Yeah.
started with Scotty.
And
see
he
what's
was like 53.
yeah. Well,
He was
I
actually 27, I think. When
Was he?
I had
Love
recorded
you,
him with a
Scotty.
band before he got with you guys,
yeah,
and it was fast shit, and he did fine. He did fine
Yeah.
with that, no
That's what he
problem.
loves.
no problem.
Yeah.
He
All
just
he
wa-
had to do was play
No problem.
literally
I
as
got no
fast as he
problem.
could.
yeah,
There
just
was-
pulling the reins back. It's just like not.
Scotty's like
yeah.
that old clip of Daquan where he's like picks up a big pot and he goes, "We don't need that, my man. You know why? Because we're the best." And then he gets his back blown out and he goes, "We need that, my man. We need that." That's Scotty with a metronome.
Scotty's the most impressive part to me is that Scotty will listen to you,
Uh-huh.
and he'll also take what you say and apply it. Because I've noticed, like, from your first album, even to this last single that you guys did, he was you can tell that he's disciplined himself and he's came a long way. And it's like it's not even the fast or the most technical crazy things that I'm noticing, which he does. He does a lot of that shit. But it's the fact that he's learning how to pull the reins back when they need to be pulled back. That's what I noticed.
Oh, I love it.
You got to get his
give him-
eyes closed. When his eyes are closed, you're good.
You're in the zone, yeah.
I give
yeah.
him mad props for how far he's come.
Yeah. He
Because
listens.
he and I went some rounds and
That's healthy,
shit.
though. That's healthy.
Like you should have seen us recording that second album. Like me and Scotty he and Scotty was about to go at it because I'm fucking yelling at him because we had spent weeks and weeks in here practicing the songs with the metronome and all this shit. We get in there and he couldn't do it. And finally, I'm in the fucking room with him recording. I had a headset, so I had to click, and I'm fucking like this with the fucking so that he could visually see the click. And once he could like visually see it, he was good.
Maybe it's a sight thing versus a hearing thing for him.
He couldn't hear for it, and I think what we landed on later on was
strobe
that,
light.
buddy, you can't like if you hear it, you're off time. And once he like really figured that out and it clicked for him, he's been good ever since.
I just think it's with drummers, and this is from recording bands. I think a lot of them is just never really played. It's not just him. I mean, it's probably for me it's 99% of bands. I'll get a few guys that have, and they're pretty good at it, but I'll get some in there that that hasn't, and it's a challenge for them. But the end result, ends up better. Not quite as chaotic unless you're going for that, But
so back to your story a little bit. How did you go from just playing music to like getting into bands to then now we just talked about all this recording and shit. So
well, it like I said, playing with bands. Just I've always been a networker, even when I was young. So, I just play and just meet anybody, everybody. Oh, my boyfriend's in a band. He plays guitar. Cool.
What's his name?
Link it up. Let me come over and jam with him, And then I got to where I was playing with older people, and I couldn't get enough, man. There was a point in my life from about, maybe 12, 13 on, clear up to mid-20s, late 20s. Now, not so much. I don't got that drive like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because you see these little fucking Chinese girls on YouTube, and it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude.
But just jam.
They're fucking insane.
It's always the Chinese.
They fucking are, dude. They are.
It's kung fu.
Yeah, and they've been playing like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
They're
fucking
85
amazing,
million
man.
times better than I'll ever be.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's awesome. What
Same
it is.
here.
honestly.
Yeah, it is cool.
Same here.
They are an intelligent people.
They are.
Discipline is what it is.
Yeah.
That's true. That's the part.
Yeah,
That's a cultural
they
thing.
catch on to everything fast.
Yes.
Fuckers.
God
If you
damn it.
fucking
Why do you have
practice
to
it
be
8
so
hours
good
a
at
day.
everything?
Yeah.
We're all fat. Except Preston.
But I just, I don't know. I just jam with people, and then one thing led to another. Started writing music with, buddies that I was in bands with and everything, and then we started putting cassette. Then I had the first studio experience.
Okay.
Like, holy shit, even
This
more
is
of a-
weird for me.
Yeah, it's different. And then after that, I got into wanting to do bands. So I started on a little 4-track recorder back in like 97, something like that. 96, 97. We ended up demoing out our whole first cassette 5-song EP on that, and then we went and recorded it, and it was like, wow, we went. It was a lot easier this time when we went because we did all this before.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that was when that stuff started sinking in. And then I just kind of started.
Did you do the old tape recorder in the middle of the floor?
No. It was a 4-track recorder, so we had 4 tracks, and at that point we was getting pretty good with it. We got to where, okay, well, you can fucking, if you leave one of those tracks open, you can take those 3 tracks, dump them onto this 1 track, and then that opens up 2 more tracks for you
Okay.
to play on. And then you can take that track and those 2 and dump those onto another track, and then that opens up 3 more. It's just
Cheating system.
I mean, you start losing quality after bouncing it 30 fucking times. But I mean, you still it was possible. It was hell. Some of the old great albums was recorded on 4-track. All the old Sabbath albums, 16-track. Very minimalistic. It was just that's what separates back then from now. You actually had to be creative and experiment versus here you can just go in and make anybody sound like anything. It sucks. It should be called an audio janitor nowadays instead of an engineer.
Yeah.
Because really, you're manipulating. They tell you what they want, and then you just
That's what
if you know how to get to it, then that's how it is.
Well, now we have AI generated songs that are better than
Yeah.
90% of people out there putting out music. So,
But if you notice though, man, things do the old 360 after a while. Like there was I don't know about in your guys' metal scene, but like the death metal scene, Regurgitation, we put our out that one Tales of Necrophilia out 25 years ago. And dude, that album has sold over 10,000 copies. And like, what's funny is that we don't even practice. We just play 2 or 3 shows a year, and it's headlining like big festivals, making good money because people want to hear that old shit. It's done the 360.
everything is cyclical. Everything.
Correct.
Everything in society, civilized, developed society is cyclical. So it's no different than a common business cycle, an inflation cycle. It's all, everything comes back around.
Well, and
Dude, I have a mullet. That's something that was cyclical, right?
That I had that same fucking haircut when I was 8, 9 years old
In the 80s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's everything comes back around.
And,
So,
and I dig it because that's still showing you there's a shred of fucking humanity left in society, like you said. Because with all this AI shit, yeah, you can get a perfect mix at home in your fucking bedroom, but like people's going to get sick of that. Just like losing the brick and mortar stores and all that. They're going to want that cool shit that you used to do, like going and renting
They want
movies.
the lo-fi.
I am 100% with you on this, Tony. Like, I see, and I'm not going to call anybody out specifically, but like on TikTok, I see a lot of people that think they can sing that can't,
Yeah.
but they can't play an instrument, but they're creating these songs with computer generated guitar, drum, bass, all this auto-tune and shit on their, which auto-tune's been around forever, but
Right.
all these different layers and shit that they're doing to their voice to make it sound like they're not fucking a goat. And I'm like, well,
goat fucker.
you're lying to people for one. Like, I'm glad you're
Yeah.
making yourself feel
How do you
better.
know what it sounds like to
And
fuck
then
a
you
goat,
get-
Kyler?
Huh?
How do you know what it sounds like to fuck a goat?
It's experience. What do you
Nothing says better than experience.
A lot of it. So it's
But I'll give them their props, though. I mean, it's
I won't. You're cool. You're good with computers.
right.
Like,
And
I'm
that's-
not going to
that's-
give them their props because it just drives me nuts because I know for a fact I can't fucking sing. So I'd be damned if I'm going to go make it seem like I can because it's a lie.
Well,
It-
apparently we can't podcast either.
No, we're terrible.
Yeah. Or Mike Place. Yeah.
Or my, yeah.
But
Or
it-
Mike
it's like
Place.
it's like the South Park episode with Lordy. You know what I mean? Stan's
Oh,
dad.
no. I am Lord. Yeah.
I mean, that's
I love that episode.
it's fucking great, ain't it, dude? He's in there on Pro Tools. Yeah, it's the best.
See, I just record
Yeah,
a thing
yeah.
on my phone with GarageBand, and then I come in here and I do this, and I had to, then it just like he ends
Yeah.
up sounding like a chick.
It sounds like what he's saying,
Yeah.
about the AI shit. But yeah,
Yep.
it's I've been fortunate, man. I was raised and I've seen all this stuff kind of come to what it is, and it's like I'll be honest with you. I know I sound like a boomer or whatever it is, but man, it was better back when you had to work for it.
Yeah.
Like your recordings didn't have all that shit to fix, and it was just fucking. It was a lot more intense.
You couldn't edit the track quite like you can now.
No.
You actually had to get a good take.
Yeah, or cut tape, and no engineer wanted to cut fucking tape if they had
No.
avoid it. You
so
know
you
what
had
I mean?
to be on your shit.
Yeah.
I seen a
you know?
video of that shit when I was going through school. I was going through like a Pro Tools
Cutting
class,
and splicing tape.
and I seen a
Yes,
video of them
dude.
doing that, and I was like, they did this for all the edits. I'm like, that had, I'm talking to the instructor through a little chat, and I'm like, how long did this normally take? He's like, dude, it could take days
Mm-hmm.
just to cut tape and edit. I'm like,
Now bands can get in and record a
Oh yeah.
10-song album in a month.
Oh,
couple
less
of
than
days.
that.
No, like start to finish. I mean, mixed, edited, ready to drop it.
Oh, I've been
Oh, yeah.
I've been known to do a 10-song album, depending on the edits, in a week.
Huge penis. Absolutely huge penis.
Well, it's just
I knew the reason I pulled that one out. No pun intended. Is because I knew he had a mouthful of fucking water and he was going to lose it.
yeah.
So,
Where
absolutely massive penis, Tony Tipton. Yes.
well, it's it depends on the complexity too. You know what I mean? But
Right.
But yeah, if a band's is ready to go and there's no revisions or nothing, I mean, I have done a 10-song album in a week before.
Like from start to finish.
Yep. Now that wasn't tracking everything. It was tracking drums, and then everybody tracked guitars, and we did do vocals at the studio. But they sent me all the files, and it was a week. So we basically cut drums to click tracks, and then within that week, while we was cutting the drums and the vocals and everything, they was doing their stuff. Like the whole band wasn't even there.
Yeah.
They was sending me the stuff as they tracked it. We was kind of going back and forth, and
But you did all the mixing and mastering.
yeah,
and
all the
that,
editing and all that stuff. Yeah, track the drums and
Yeah, that's a lot to do, but I mean, it's just it's technology. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and
just
that-
what it
yeah.
comes down to.
yeah, going back to
You know?
that, it really does.
I
But
mean,
like,
hell, these guys recorded No Return in here.
yeah,
I mean, and it sounds great. Can I say this over the air? It sounds better than the last album.
I mean, you can say
I
whatever
think it
you want,
does,
bro.
I think it
I
does.
mean, they did a whole album in a studio, and a single that they recorded in the sanctuary sounds better than.
Yep.
Now we did record the drums and whatnot in the studio he had.
Okay.
You didn't like do a lot to those drums, did you?
you talking about the second song that
No Return.
No Return.
The last one
Last
you
single.
did for us,
Yeah.
oh
where
no,
we recorded up in Courthouse Fitness.
what do you mean like do a lot like?
Like you didn't have to do like the triggers or anything
No.
like that. It, like the recording that
No,
we
it was
hear
li-
was the actual
It was live drums. Yeah, there's live drums. Now there is a trigger blended on the kick just for attack, but that's
Naturally,
pretty
yeah.
standard. But his real kicks was still blended in there, but all the rest of the drums was natural.
Sounded pretty.
Yeah, they sounded good. They turned out good.
I like it.
So I'm gonna shift gears on you just a touch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you back a little bit because this is just as a
Yeah, we seem like we kind of.
we do
That's a show.
we bounce, bro. We bounce. Because if we don't, Chris will find us. When you think back to you mentioned Metallica. One of my favorite things to ask guests, especially fellow musicians, is their influences and what really kind of shaped who they are musically today. So you saw Preston fist pump when you said Metallica because that was us, right? That's what got us started. Was those first 4 Metallica albums, and this is 20
I'd
years
be in
later.
the NBA right now if it wasn't for Metallica.
I
wouldn't have quit playing ball.
See what I mean? How the guitar just
No, but
it takes you over,
I'm
man.
the white
it does.
Muggsy Bogues, bro.
Yeah,
No, so
I can agree, and I relate because that's the same thing happened to me.
Yeah, man.
So I'm just curious. I mean, obviously you mentioned them, but just musicians in general, like guitar players, like who were some of your biggest influences in style?
Probably Andy LaRock. You guys probably don't know who that is.
I don't.
He plays guitar for King Diamond.
Oh.
You've heard of King Diamond?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
He's
Metallica covers
always
and-
fucking.
yeah.
He's always had the best guitar play, like the best musicians. Period. I mean, all of his bands, like even through, I don't even know how many fucking albums he's got. I've been a fan ever since I was 9-10 years old. But man, these guys, like, he paints his fucking face like you've seen him, right?
White, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
White and
white and all
black.
fucked up looking, and he's
Yep.
got these sideburns. Like, he's just a weird looking dude. But all of his bands look like they stepped off a strip in the '80s. The fucking hairspray and
Yeah,
the BC Rich guitars and the spandex and
God.
shit.
yeah,
But man, they fucking just shredded.
they did.
And Andy LaRock did it for me, man. Him, Malmsteen was a Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yngwie,
He
yep.
was killer. He was one I looked at. Marty Friedman was another one.
Yep.
And then I started getting into like the shredder guy, the shrapnel guys. You guys probably don't know too much about that, but
No, I don't.
back when I was growing up, they always had back in all the guitar magazines and shit, they always had advertisements. There was a record label called Shrapnel, and he just specialized in shredder guitars. So it was like instrumental albums of just, hey, look how good I am type shit, Richie Kotzen, Marty Friedman, Jason Becker. That's why I started getting into that shit and really started getting into shredding. So, them
Buckethead,
guys.
Steve Vai.
Not so much Buckethead. I mean, he's got his own thing. I'll give him that. But it's like, if I
Right.
can't listen to it and,
He's different.
and Vi's the same way. I love Vi, but
Yep.
I can't
Again,
listen to
different.
an album. I just can't.
Yeah.
Any of that shit.
Were you a Satch
Instrumental.
fan?
No, never was.
Okay.
No.
Satchel?
No.
Like from
Oh,
Steel
Satch
Panther?
Yeah,
Satriani.
Satchel,
Oh.
yeah, but not Satchel.
Yeah.
Satriani.
Yeah, Satchel's killer. But
Richie Sambora.
yeah.
Underrated as hell.
He
I
is.
think I dropped
He
that.
is.
I dropped that in our group chat like a couple weeks ago. Richie Sambora from Bon Jovi, I think, is
Yeah.
one of the most
Yep.
underrated because
Yeah,
everybody
man.
knows.
I
Like,
think
if
we
you think back to
talked
the 80s.
about it on an episode recently.
Are you sure? Maybe I did.
I don't. It blends
Yeah,
together.
it does. because everybody
Yeah.
knows George Lynch, right? Like,
Yeah.
and Warren DeMartino. Like, there were certain guitarists from the hair metal scene that were actually like
Really
fucking
good.
really good.
Bunch of them, yeah.
So
bunch
like
of them.
Warren and everybody knows those, but like I feel like a lot of people don't think about Richie Sambora because Bon Jovi was the band.
Yeah.
So like I always want to throw his name out there. Jakey Lee from Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of those guys that
Yeah, a lot of them dudes got tucked away in that scene, you know what I mean? Just because they was in a band where,
the front man was the pretty.
yeah,
Yeah.
they all look
Yeah.
like fucking chicks, man,
Yep.
you know? But, like, some of them dudes could really shred, like the guy in Shotgun Messiah. Jesus Christ.
Not familiar.
No,
Cody,
no point
I
of
can't remember his
reference
last name, but Harry Cody, that's his name. His last name is Cody. That dude, holy shit, man.
No way.
The dudes in Rock's gang, I mean, candy ass hairspray band, but when they played leads, it was just like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was out of place almost.
Yeah, there was a lot of guitarists from that era, in my opinion, they get overlooked because of the scene they were in,
Right.
and 9 times out of 10, the front man was the whole band, and they don't get talked about. I mean, Jesus Christ, every fucking hair metal band was that way. Whitesnake Crew,
They really
were, I
was.
mean, Stephen Pearcy,
Yeah.
David Coverdale, all those
Yeah.
guys were the band. So nobody's paying
Yeah.
attention to. Now they were getting equal amounts of pussy, I'm sure,
Mm-hmm.
but
Except for bass players.
except for Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, they didn't get shit.
Glenn Fricker's
Nobody
here
caught my
somewhere.
Freddie Mercury joke. That's unfortunate. He had giant horse teeth and like dudes, which is cool. I mean, that's cool. I mean, it killed him, but that's cool.
Did kill him.
Did kill him.
To each their own, even if it is a bone. But,
Crispy. So I'm going to ask you another. Another personal question, not like just like personal preference.
yeah.
So, I mean, you go from what you're playing, right? You're doing death metal. Then Johnny Lawless is like, man, I don't even know what to Southern rock. Is that an insult to call it Southern rock because it's way groovier? I don't know. What do you classify Lawless as?
Honestly, man,
Just a rock band?
I just listen to what people kind of categorize it as, because for me it's hard to pinpoint. 'Cause I'm like you, it's just like the new album. We're almost done. We just finished track. Vocals are done as of yesterday.
Yeah.
And
You don't stop.
no, man, I don't stop. And it's there's parts that sound like Southern rock. There's parts that sound like, you know, kind of older country maybe.
Okay.
Then there's parts that kind of have I don't know, like a rock flair to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Appreciate
it's
you.
all over the place.
Makes it unique.
So,
Yeah.
what is your favorite like band or genre of music?
Metal, or like the 80s hair metal shit,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just because of the guitars, man, you know,
Yeah.
it's anything guitar. Like one of my favorite metal bands is Archspire. I mean, the whole band is insane, but the guitar work is just mind melting, you know, and Black Dahlia Murder. I just like good bands that, you know, write good songs, and that's a lost art. It seems like in the metal, death metal scene, you know, a lot of there's a lot of really good bands, but I think bands kind of tend to forget about just putting together a good song, you know, like back in the 90s, the older death metal scene where you had like Obituary, Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, you know,
Mayhem.
yeah, Death and all those bands, you know, like
Dude, Death was legit,
Yeah.
though.
the songs just was the way songs were
That's like the
written.
only death metal band that I was like actually into. I really
Yeah.
like the 90s death metal scene.
Yeah, the
Like-
structuring and shit was just
Except Cannibal Corpse, I think they're a joke.
really
No, here's my problem, and I'm not gonna attack your
No,
opinion
no.
at all. I never understood death metal. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna talk about fucking dead babies,
yeah.
or like,
it's
I just, what is that doing for you? Like, do people? I just really struggled with that because it felt like, wow, these songs have zero literal meaning at all. And it's just like it's theater, it's theatrical, it's
And
a
that's-
performance, and that's fine. But like,
Yeah.
I just never.
kind of
I would
think
get
of
into
it.
arguments with people on social media where they're like, "Oh my god, death metal's so much better than metalcore." I'm like, "Why?" And just because you mentioned good songwriting and
Right.
songs that have meaning or are there for a reason, and I just felt like there was so few death metal bands that actually did that
There
for
was.
me personally.
But if you got to look at it like Cannibal Corpse, the only thing I can compare that to is watching a slasher flick.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
They're
the
the-
same difference, so to speak.
Ice Nine Kills. They're the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, but yeah, it's for me. that's when I was growing up. You know, albums like Tomb of the Mutilated, Butchered at Birth, like the riffing on that shit was just, man, the structure, the way that it was barbaric. It was ahead of its time. You know, you didn't hear nobody playing fucking drums like Paul Mazurkiewicz was back on those albums. You know, and then Deicide was the same way. The Satanic, the Satan shit, I don't fucking understand. But it's whatever, you know. But they've just the riffs and shit was killer. I didn't give a fuck what they was saying. Even though you couldn't understand it, I still didn't care.
That's how I got to a point with metalcore. Like when I first got into like screaming in metal, it was like, I don't know what they're saying, and I don't care because I feel something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's the musician in you. It's just you can feel it. Even ever since I was young playing guitar, I could always feel timing, or I could always feel things a certain way. And it's like, if it grabs me, it ain't got to be good vocals or anything, or it could be good vocals. It's
just a groove.
Just something,
Yeah. You know, I would have thought that growing up being such an old school thrash metal fan that I would have easily transitioned to death metal, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I fell in love with the melodic hair metal, and death metal has absolutely zero of that. The just vibey feel, that kind of thing that I was getting from some of that hair metal. And there was some stuff in the 90s that did that. I mean, like Candlebox and Soundgarden. Like, there's just some of those bands that had some of that vibey shit. And then I start getting into a little tiny bit of new metal because I missed the metal scene. And then out of left field, here comes metalcore. And I'm like, what is this wonderful thing that has saved my life?
Yeah.
You know? And I just never could to dive head first into the death metal thing.
It's not everybody's.
Because it was just like, wow, this is a bunch of triples. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. But that's crazy though with like the metalcore, because I like the metalcore
because you hear that a lot.
Just a lot of breakdowns. But I'm a fan of both. But, you know, a lot of them, because dude, 2008 was a fucking terrible year for deathcore, in my opinion. All them bands with the fucking swoop hair, you know what I'm talking about, the black swoop fucking hair and.
Oh, you're talking about crabcore.
Yeah,
or crabcore,
shit like that. Yeah. They all had, you know, the fucking
just chug breakdown,
type shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, I heard that on the last 5 fucking bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. Like crabcore was a flash in the pan.
It was,
but I mean, but also, you know, it's one of them things where it's like, out of 100 bands, there might be 10 of them that catches my ear, like Within the Ruins. That's when they started blowing up. They're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know, the old Whitechapel.
Old Whitechapel.
Man, dude, This Is Exile is that's in my top 5.
Yeah, I did love Suicide Silence with Mitch. I think everybody did.
Yeah, I don't like him. What's his name? Dude from All Shall Perish. That's singing.
Who?
The guy that took his place from All Shall Perish.
Oh fuck!
I don't like him.
I'll get you real quick. Is he still with him now?
Yeah, he's still with him.
I thought so. I'll get you real quick. So see, this is why we got the iPad for fucking.
Did you ever get into like hardcore at all?
I like Hatebreed, and then Madball's pretty cool. Yeah, just a few things here and there, not a whole lot. There's a lot of shit like Cro-Mags and all that I can't get into.
Yeah, because we're big fans of like Norma Jean, and then you got like
Herman Hermida, Eddie Hermida.
Boundaries. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Never heard of them.
They're pretty dope.
But I have heard of Norma. See, that shit to me sounds like old Dillinger's Escape Plan.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call that hardcore. I'd call that what'd they call that, mathcore back in the day?
No,
that wouldn't be math. Mathcore was like
hardcore. What I hear is hardcore is like shit that was like somewhat just punk music that was just heavy as fuck.
Yeah, like Hatebreed.
Yeah,
that's where they fucking scream a positive message.
Yeah. So I'm curious, in regards to hardcore, did hardcore to you feel like it was way more like all over the place compared to something like death metal?
What got me was I don't like punk that much, and I didn't like the punk aspect of it, and I always thought the recording sounded like shit.
Yeah,
and the riffing was just
and me, Tony, we're brothers, man. Hardcore fucking sucks.
Yeah,
unless you're
the
you love
fucking
Norma Jean.
The fucking riffing, man, like the riffing just sounds so I don't know, adolescent. It was just I don't know. They just didn't do much for me, man.
And it sounded like a big wall of sound. You couldn't pick one thing
it was
away
terrible,
from the other.
man.
Yeah, dude, you and me, brother.
Like Ramones and shit like that. I tried even like yeah.
Let's go.
I mean, do
I
you,
don't really get into like old punk like that.
well, did you guys ever? You might not. You're still fairly younger, but like, do you ever listen to an album and just like, I don't fucking get it, and then maybe 10 years later, you're like, man, let me go back to this and see what everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no. And then 5 years later, you're like, man, I'm gonna give this one third spin. You know, I'm older, I'm different now.
And it still sucks?
Yeah, that's how the Gorgasm album, Obscura. You guys probably
No, brother,
Dude,
that's
No idea.
that fucking album came out. I want to say it was in the '90s sometime, and everybody went ape shit over it.
yeah.
Which
Death metal, I'm guessing.
yeah, really technical. I mean, it was different for its time. It was ahead of its time. It had killer musicians in the band. I mean, everybody was like a fucking phenom at what they played. And the only thing I liked about it was that it kind of put Mesa Boogie dual rectifiers on the map for death metal bands.
For
It's
death
like
metal bands.
they spent
What
some
were they
money on
playing
their
before?
fucking gear. You know, well, a lot of bands back then was just
Whatever they could get. Okay.
Great, baby.
Okay.
and dude,
Great, yeah.
Butcher,
Great,
hey,
yeah.
Tomb of the Mutilated and Butcher
Hey,
at Birth was
hey,
recorded with
man.
crates, and
Yeah.
that guitar tone is crushing.
I throw some spec on some crate.
Oh, dude, you won't ever hear
Yeah.
me hating on a crate.
No way, man. Crates
No,
done a
sir.
lot in the scene that people don't know about, but
They's cheap.
yeah.
Days cheap.
But you know, I was like, I don't fucking get this, and then later on, years went by, and everyone's just like, oh man, that album's fucking one of my top 5, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm a little older, got some grays, let's check it out.
Yeah.
This is fucking terrible. Not even 2 minutes into the first song, you know.
So it just goes back to the whole thought of just like I had mentioned about how I feel about death metal versus how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Music is so subjective, man.
It
It's
is.
so subjective.
It really
and
is.
it's, for example, there's you mentioned people saying that album was in their top 5, and you're like, bro, I don't even like it, let alone that much.
No.
And there's stuff like that for me albums that people will rave about, and I'm like, I just do not get it. And it's all personal taste. And even if you're trying to stay within a genre, you're a big death metal fan. Here's an album that so many people are just obsessed with and think is fantastic, and you're like, I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
It's a wild concept.
But I won't sugarcoat nobody. If they ask me, I'll just be like, yeah, I just don't.
Oh, you should see our group chat. We'll get in
fucking
fucking
get it,
arguments about it.
dude. Oh yeah, but that's good though. You know what I mean? That's variety. And that's
differing
a different
opinions.
opinion. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
want everybody don't want to be on the same fucking playing field, dude. That'd be pretty sterile.
It'd be boring. Like you said,
Yeah.
there wouldn't be all this.
I mean, hell, he's just
Yeah.
3 of us. I mean, him and I are pretty similar. We differ in some areas, but Tyler's kind of out here in
Tyler-
left field, but he'll run to center sometimes.
Yeah. Well, his musical taste is, I've always thought was kind of odd considering
He's an
what he
odd
grew up
guy.
around.
Yeah, he's an odd fella.
Yeah, he grew up around, me and his dad and everybody, and it was just like the stuff he listens to or plays is the last thing that I thought. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Breaking Benjamin, Deftones and shit like that. Like we never jammed none of that shit around. Even you're
Right.
talking about in diapers. He was around living room being full of gear and just guitars everywhere, 24/7. And it's like, where did we go wrong?
Yeah, where'd we fuck up?
No,
So
it's good.
did you truly expect someone like him, especially in his situation, to be into more hair metal shreddy shit growing up? And
No. I mean, he was little when all that stuff was going
Yeah.
on. I think maybe he'd been in high school where he just started meeting other musicians, kind of like everyone
Yep.
does, find their own way musically. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Start playing and getting to know other musicians, introduced to other
so
shit.
Playing the stuff Dad had me playing, I liked it, and it was cool to, like you, the guitar just came easy to me.
Yeah.
When I was young, like it was, Dad was showing me Little Wing solo. I had been playing music for like 3 months, and I fucking ripped that solo, the Skid Row version,
Yeah,
and that was a pretty good version, by the way.
it was. They did a great job on that.
But I was doing that like 3-4 months into playing music, and Dad was making me write songs because I was in trouble for watching porn and shit.
BDSM,
So,
baby. BDSM.
Shout out season 1, baby.
So, playing that kind of music, like I enjoyed it, and it was cool that I could do it. But that was all it was for me. I just thought it was cool that I could do it, and I was good at it, and it came easy to me. It wasn't until I got with Sean and started listening to music he was messing with that I found a love for music.
Yeah.
And that was like grunge, hard rock,
Did it almost
alternative, stuff like that, because that's the stuff that connected with me more like on a deeper level. Like that's the kind of stuff I connected with, not the...
Did it feel like that stuff was kind of forced on you when you was learning that?
Kind of.
And that takes the joy out of it.
There was that, but like a lot of that music just had no fucking meaning to it whatsoever.
Yeah, it was about
And
getting pussy and partying. Yeah.
But
Which was cool.
When I was a teenager, like I wasn't a very thrilled child. So like I connected with the darker shit.
So much has changed.
Yeah, I'm not a happy person.
You're a ginger. You have no soul.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna say,
yeah,
what do you have to live?
What do I have to live for? Fuck, man. God damn. But yeah,
Hey,
I
at
mean,
least you don't have a receding hairline like me. so
like there
you
was a period of time I had stopped playing
Oh yeah.
when I was younger, because I started hanging out with guys that I was playing football with every day,
bro.
and we were fucking fighting each other every other day, and we were trying to get laid all the time.
60% of the time it worked every time, bro.
Yeah.
Made with bits of real Panther.
But
But the break was nice, though, wasn't it? I mean, I've taken breaks
it was
before.
nice, and then I started hanging out with Sean,
I take breaks,
and that's
too.
when I got
Yeah.
I'm on one right
I
now.
think the best thing, I think the best thing that I do for myself as a musician and as a guitar
Yeah, you
player
said this the other day.
is accidentally taking a week off of playing,
Yeah.
and then that next week I pick it up and it feels like my mind is just racing
Yeah.
with ideas. It's so weird to me.
I picked up.
think maybe
I
it's-
picked up one of my guitars today for the first time in a week too. I'm just same way as him. Sometimes I just.
Have you ever taken longer than that off?
Oh, I have.
yeah.
I've taken
Have you?
6 months off.
I did almost 2 years once.
Like when you say take it off,
the
like
whole time
not
I was
play
in the
once a week, maybe.
No.
None.
No.
Zero.
Put it in the
Zeros.
case and just forgetting about
Mine was
I've
at
never
least
not
6
played
months.
2 weeks.
it. Really?
Yeah.
6 months
6 months, I think, is my.
is the longest.
I don't know if it's the longest. It's the most recent one I remember. And it when well, not terribly that long ago, is when Walker was born.
Yeah.
So
I think the longest I took was damn near the whole fucking time I was in the military.
no,
even-
you were still playing. You and Sean. You talked about you and Sean doing the Skype thing. So
Yeah, so I played very rarely.
Okay.
It was like when I would come home on leave, I would get with Sean and Scotty, or if it was just Sean, I'd get with him.
it's like riding a bike, though.
And
It
then
really is. It
I-
is.
Fuck you guys. You don't like music enough. Bro.
I'd
You shouldn't be taking
I'd
those
probably
breaks.
be playing maybe once a month.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime
Michaela
that I
hated-
walk away from, like today, I picked it up for the first time in a week. Never felt like I just missed a beat. I'm like, this is why
Yeah.
I'm fine having those points from like, get the fuck away from me. Like I haven't listened to more than 3 songs. I guess in the gym. That's the only time I've been listening
Right.
to music in the past week. I'm all podcasts right now because I'm so burnt out. Haven't listened to the Spirit Box EP. Haven't listened to the Silent Planet album. I'm just so burnt out that I get in the gym and all I do is click on Polaris, hit shuffle, work out,
And
turn
just-
it off,
yeah.
turn my podcasts on, and that's all I listen to
That's
all day.
it. I did a 2-year break once, but I was burnt out because I just come off of it was a bad 3-week tour where we was the promoter had us playing almost every single night. We started off in Cleveland, then shot down, clear down through Texas and everything, then back up everywhere else, and
Was this with
regurgitation. Yeah, I think it was 3 weeks. I can't remember. It was a while. We was gone for a while, but we just crammed in this fucking little van, man. You know, 4 of us, and then there was a merch guy we had with us, but we just wasn't making any money, and it was fucking playing almost every night, and it was brutal, man. Then we came back, and I was just burnt, and then my daughter was just born, and I was like, I just don't want to do music right now. I don't want to do anything like that. And man, it was about 2 years before
Yeah.
I went back to playing with anybody. But then I actually went back with them,
Yeah.
and then they was just I never practiced with them or nothing. They're just like, "You want to come play this show?" It's like, "Yeah, fuck it." And then that was pretty much started the fire. I just needed it, man.
Yeah.
I think it's good for me personally. It's good for me.
Yeah,
it's good for me because when whether it's listening to music or playing it, when I come back, man, I'm. It's like I'm rediscovering it all for the first time. It's almost a high.
You get to where it quits working.
Yeah,
you know what
dude,
I mean? It's just like
it is. It's like a drug. Music is like a drug.
Yeah.
And there comes a point where I hit my tolerance, and I'm like, I am done for now. And I take a break, come back, and I feel like a new man every time.
Yep.
It's wild how that works.
I wonder if it's like maybe it just becomes so routine and mundane.
Same
And
as
then when
anything
you-
else.
Same as anything else. I
And then
think Preston said
you
it best.
take a break. You just kind of take a break for a week or 2 weeks or something like that.
And
You come
everybody's
back
different.
And it's,
You know?
Now it's,
I think it's kind of I don't know for you guys, but I know for me it's one of those deals where it's like, how much of a pain in the ass is it to actually make this happen? And then I think that's where you get burnt, and then you take a week or two away from it, and then you're like, okay, I can tolerate it again.
I'm the same way with. I know I'm the only one sitting here that can say this or feels this way, but like I'm the same way with video games.
Yeah.
So I get in swings where I play every night. I'm in a swing right now where I play every night, and then I get in weeks at a time where I won't play at all. Right. And it's just I get burnt out on it, and I'm tired of it. And then something new comes out or something, whatever it might be. My old crew gets back together and wants to play, and I'm back in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
hardcore.
dude. Like right now, OG Fortnite's back. We're grinding. We're getting back to back
that's all
dubs all
fun
night
kids
long.
talked about all weekend.
Bro, when OG Fortnite, it's because your kids are experiencing it for the first time. Because when it first came out, they were little.
Oh yeah, they was like, Dad, it's the OG. Can we please get on our Switches? And I'm like, the what? The what? Where? What's going on? They're like, Dad, Fortnite OG. If our Switches are updated, can we play? And I'm like,
Stop what
They
you're
were
doing.
juicing about it, weren't they?
Let me play the fork knife.
They're experiencing it for the first time. Meanwhile, I'm teary-eyed sitting there thinking back to being broke as shit in 2017, playing it for the first time in my 1-bedroom, 500 square foot house I was living in, living the dream because me and the boys were getting dubs every night.
Yeah.
It's so nostalgic for me.
man.
But anyways, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. It's just, I think
Good
Preston
times.
said it best. With anything in life that you do on a consistent basis, working out,
Yeah.
meal prep. Oh my fucking god, I am so tired of meal prepping. But anyways,
I don't even want to hear it.
I know.
That's why I just
Consistent
fucking eat
for
once
like
a day.
4 years.
That's it.
Do you really?
Yeah, because I'm tired of doing all that shit.
You meal prep one a day. You said.
I just eat once a day. It's usually like a lot of meat. I mean, I lift at like 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, bro,
And,
I'm lucky to be in the gym at 8.
Oh yeah, but I'll just go. I'll fast until 4 or 5, and then I'll just fucking eat as much as I can because of the program I'm on.
good.
But it's good food, like chicken and rice, so I'll make like fucking 2 servings of rice and like 2 or 3 chicken. You just eat until you're stuffed because it's got to
That
get you
doesn't
through.
sound very healthy.
It is, dude.
How many
Believe it or
grams
not.
of protein are you getting in that one meal? You getting at least 200?
Shit, like tonight was probably, man, it was like 4 or 5 pieces of steak.
Oh,
It's a
damn.
lot,
Hell
yeah.
'Cause, like,
So you're getting several hundred grams of protein. You're good.
like,
At
you-
least 100, 150 to maybe 200.
200.
roughly.
you need at your size at least
Are you powerlifting?
2,500 calories a day to maintain.
You eat more
Like
than that?
probably more than that. Even.
And see, I mean, I'm losing weight, but I'm not losing size. Because what's
probably because you're still lifting and taking in high protein.
well that, and then my
Do you have
doctor
a
put me
protein
on
shake throughout the
fucking.
day or anything though? So
Nope.
no calories at all.
There's this dude I follow that he's Fitness Panda is what he's called. He got trained by John Meadows from Columbus.
Oh, John.
That passed away. Yeah, IFBB pro.
A bunch of people around here know John personally.
Not anymore.
Had him on
No, not anymore,
this dude fasts. He'll fast for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Eat one time a day, and he's fucking jacked.
So
He's
all the
huge.
lean guys that I follow, that's what they do.
Well, when you're older, it just works better for your body. Like I used to do, every 2 or 3 hours, but it got now to where it's just like if I eat that much, I feel like shit. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, it's like my metabolism's changed, and the fasting's working for me to cut weight slowly. So I'm not losing it too fast, but
Right.
it's still progress, and I feel better.
So bringing it back a little bit music wise,
Yeah.
what are you listening to in the gym?
Man, honestly, I've been the newest Dying
I know
Fetus.
you're listening to some Backstreet Boys, dude. I see you. I
Oh
see
yeah,
you rocking.
you see me dancing in the mirror.
Oh, I see it.
You work out at Courthouse Fitness?
Yeah.
Do you?
No, the newest Dying Fetus. That so good, man.
Never got into them.
The production's fucking mint. You know, Mark Lewis produced it, which he's done Whitechapel. He's done Fallujah. He's done. He did. Fuck was that? Bad Wolves. He did the Bad Wolves album. But yeah, the production's clean as a bell. You could hear a fucking gnat fart in the corner of the room on that album. And the material's just, it's a banger start to finish. You know, it's all killer, no filler.
Yeah,
all killer.
Yeah,
that's going on a T-shirt.
Yep,
all killer, no filler.
It's just it dropped a few weeks back, dude, and I haven't listened to anything else.
No way. That's cool to see.
I'm just repeat.
That's what I do.
Yeah, give it to me. Yeah,
I just click on Polaris and hit shuffle because I know that every single song is a banger, so I don't. Ever have
them
to worry
banger
about,
albums are the best.
I don't
ones,
have to worry
man,
about something coming on that's gonna. No, I just on the artist page, bro. Hit shuffle, whole discography, give it all to me. It's all gonna keep me going.
You do Apple Music?
Yeah,
smart man. Good man.
Yes, sir. Whole family does.
We don't believe
I knew there was a
Spotify
reason I
here.
liked you.
Shout out to our Spotify listeners. We appreciate it. Yeah, I can't do Spotify.
Me neither.
I think it might just be an IQ issue, but
my wife does. She used
your
to
wife's
use
a doctor. Okay, so there we go.
No, but seriously,
it's an
I messed
IQ
with it
issue.
over the weekend when we were driving down south, and it actually wasn't like as bad to navigate as I thought. It wasn't as bad.
Last time I used it, which I was pricking around with it when we started this podcast back in March, and I was immediately like, how does anybody use this?
Yeah, I've
don't
always
have
felt that
commercials or
way.
some shit.
Unless you pay for it.
I think you gotta pay for it.
So if you pay for it, you can get rid of them.
Which Apple Music, you just gotta pay for to begin with. Which is
right.
okay.
Yeah. There's no using that unless you pay for it.
Take my money.
Take my money. Yeah,
but it's killer though because it's
Spotify's like a cult, bro. The people that use Spotify, they like Apple Music shame.
It's the whole Android versus Apple.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody really? Yeah, there are people out there that still. I have some colleagues that have Android phones, and I'm like, what? Well, you're some of the smartest people in this company, and you're using an Android. What are we doing?
That's just like
you
a
have doctor
hack
before your
waiting
name.
to happen, you know?
Yeah,
an Android.
They're emojis, bro.
or when a
Your
venue
green
fucking
text message.
hands me an Android tablet to mix on, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Like,
What the fuck
Why are
is
you
this?
handing me this when iPads
this fucking
exist,
dinosaur,
bro?
man? They're gonna break into my bank account.
Fucking Tony. How dare you?
Like fucking happy asking
Well,
panda from
it's-
Family Guy.
It's like fucking,
Give me your parents' credit card information.
yeah.
You
how
fucking peasant. Give me a real fucking tablet.
Well, you get if you're used to Apple and then you jump onto an Android.
Dude, it is horrible.
You just want to
Why
snap
are
it
you
over
handing
your
me
knee.
this
I
Samsung
can't.
poverty tablet?
I can't fucking
I
do
can't
it.
navigate it.
No,
So
it's
it's like
confusing.
it's just fucking.
Like I worked
But
for
I
a
don't
phone
mind,
store
like-
and I had to figure out Androids just to be able to fucking help people.
I
and
don't
I wanted
mind
to kill
like
myself.
Microsoft computers.
No, I don't either. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I have one of each. I have a Microsoft-based computer and I have a MacBook, and I can navigate both just fine because the Mac's just like your phone, and then a computer. It doesn't even feel like my Mac doesn't feel like a computer. It just feels like a big iPad,
Like big tablet.
big tablet. That's what it feels like. And then my computer runs off Windows.
Yeah.
It's, that's what I think of when I think of a computer, and I don't have an issue with it, but. The Android phone thing, dude. That's
and the tablets, like that's just I don't know, man. To me, it's like this is the most asinine way of thinking.
I'm not
I
trying.
can't
I don't
fucking-
like monopolies, but listen, there's one phone company out there. Okay?
There's one.
There's one. All right. Steve Jobs died for our sins, so we can have the iPhone. Okay.
Although they don't come with headphones no more. Fucking
They don't.
bullshit.
Yeah.
You remember that back in the day,
Yeah,
bud?
man.
You knew it was time to get a new phone when the headphones
When they
started.
had headphones. Yeah. Yep.
Dicking with the cord.
Oh yeah,
Come
we've been using iPhones since fucking 2008. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't allowed to have one until like 2012. I got my first iPhone my freshman year of college. So I was still rocking like Rumors and
I
Razor.
started
not
with
Razor.
Android.
Oh yeah, razors.
I started with Android, and then after I got that
Started
MacBook,
with Nextel, bro.
Yeah, I had a
Okay.
Nextel.
I
Yeah.
started with Nextel. I had
I-
Nextel for years.
I remember the Rumor phones. the
I
little
had a
slide,
Rumor, and
yeah.
then there was another one called a Rant. That was like the redheaded stepchild of the Rumor. I think Hannah Gurton had one.
A rant.
Why do I remember that? I don't know.
Anyway, so
This phone
somehow
said the
let's get
goofiest
back
names
to
back then,
music
too.
somehow.
How do we?
What do
bounce?
you?
Alright.
What do you?
No,
what
he
are you
no,
rocking in the
shit. It doesn't
studio
have to be
nowadays?
just a goddamn
What?
music
No.
show.
What's the hype about? What's all the hype about a Mesa Dual Rec? I've never played one, but they've always sounded muddy to me.
Oh man, and then
Like they sound good, maybe it's just not the sound I've always preferred. I don't know.
In a band setting, those fucking things will cut through anything. Like, you're going to hear every single note the person plays. They're truth-telling amps. They're just like any tube amp, you know. It depends what you run with. But a Mesa Boogie, like, by itself, a bone stock one, I mean, the bass to work with is phenomenal. You go adding other shit to it, like tube screamers or, you know, then they really come to life, you know, and then paired with the right cabinet, you know, you get some interesting sounding stuff. But, I mean, they're just such a fucking workhorse amp, man. Powerful. Just loud, and they just cut through, man. They cut through a mix really easy. But by themselves, sometimes they do sound pretty.
I've always thought,
bad,
from what I've heard, I get into YouTube land, and guys will do dual rec videos, and I'm like, I don't understand it.
Check out, you watch Ola?
Yeah, oh yeah.
His
and I've listened to him play through a Mesa, and I'm like, oh,
they sound good, dude.
But then I'll watch somebody else, and there will be a trend of like this mud that I'm hearing. And I'm like,
but that's the beauty of those amps, is that, you know, the three of us could play it, and it's going to sound different. We're going to set them up different.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just really, those amps are so versatile. They're very 3 channels, like, you know, the triple rec's got 3 channels, and
yeah.
I mean, I had a triple rec for a while in the studio, and it was kind of useless because we would fucking crank it up, and you'd be hearing it out of the ISO booth, and it was just so goddamn 150 watt tube amp.
Oh my god!
But you know, we had to go use a hot plate with it, which is it's a Marshall, it's an attenuator.
Okay.
So you crank the amp up, and you use the attenuator for the volume.
Yeah.
So you can get those tubes where you want them.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I need for that 5150
attenuator. Yeah.
I honestly need
power brake.
That,
power brake.
I need that for this motherfucker in our gigs.
Really?
I mean, somewhat, because when I crank that damn thing, I get that fucking tone that I want, and I'll have to, of course, we'll play or whatever, we'll do whatever, or check sound, and I'm like, oh, I gotta turn it down.
Crank it down.
I gotta crank it down, and I'm like, oh, there's not as much punch anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So, all right.
They're good amps, man. EVHs are awesome. No, the dual Recs are nice, man. I love the one
I'd like to play through one. I wish I could take a week and just fucking gear head out on a bunch of shit that I've always seen or heard of.
You and me both, dude.
Right in front of me.
So, speaking of gear, you have an interesting way that you do your mixing and mastering now. Would you care to...
Maybe he doesn't want to give away his secrets, bro.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
because most people would, like, you're dealing with recording and stuff. It's you get your studio monitors, you get your space set up, and now, you know, as technology has advanced, you just got a fucking pair of headphones.
Mm-hmm. Slate VSXs, yeah.
And that is still fucking crazy to me.
Well, I don't know if you've looked into them very much, but
no,
they work with emulation software. So
back to the fucking AI bullshit.
Right. You know, T1000. But it's what they did was they figured out a way to make it sound like you go into the plug-in and you can pick which studio. Like they have the NRG studio. They got, you know, various other studios, famous studios. They even got a section where you can sit in 2 different cars, an SUV and a standard car. Because, you know...
oh, fuck, I don't remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, the car test mix, you know, anybody recording, okay, burn it, let's go out to the car.
Yeah, you go listen to it in the car because...
That's where...
a lot of the time, it'll fucking fall apart in the car, man.
Yeah, sound great in here, but that's cool because you can toggle, and somehow, like I said, they got with the people that work in all these places, and... it sounds identical. So it's like if you put them headphones on, you select NRG Studios, you sound like you're mixing in NRG Studios.
Hey, it's funny that we bring that up because when I first started panning the audio on the podcast, I threw it out like real wide. And then it got in the car, and it was like, hey, Mike, all the way over at the passenger door. Hey, Mike! And then you got like 2 people that are like right in front of you, and then like this guy's kind of off here, and then that
It was awesome with headphones, wasn't it?
Well, I did it in here, and on my monitors, like it all like sounds like right here.
Yep.
when I have it, I pan it out normally like 25 this way, 25 that way, maybe go to 30 if I got like 5 people on here.
Go 100 and use a stereo widener too. Make them sound like you're down the block.
Cup phone.
And here sounds like it's all right here, but then I get in the car, I'm like, oh, this is nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I kept
Spreads out a little bit. Yeah.
I'm just here, dude.
It's interesting how the sound field is. Like when that same plugin, they did an update where there's an iPhone. And it sounds like you're listening to a fucking iPhone. It's insane. So all I do is just basically, I got another plug-in, Metric AB, which is, you can import a song to mix with. And anything you do to your master won't affect that song, which is fucking, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. So, those two right there, as far as getting things sonically correct, is what I use.
How much is something like that?
Slate VSX is $500. Comes with the headphones and the software. And you own it. It's not a rental. And then...
it's not a subscription-based thing?
Nope.
And I mean, that sounds... Because, like a decent set of studio monitors, $500.
Oh, yeah. And these are... Dude, these have made my mixes
and that's only for, like,
up.
a decent set of...
Yeah.
To get, like, the really nice ones.
Oh, yeah, like a set of Genelecs or something, yeah.
When you were mixing our most recent single, is that how you did it? No way.
Yeah, and I just bounce back and forth with those rooms with that AB, that metric. I'll pick a song that I like is kind of like how everything sits, and then I'll just flip A and B back and forth, and I'll switch, from the different studios to the cars, to the boom box, to the fucking nightclub when they got, to the iPhone. And then they got different
make sure
sets.
It sounds good on all of it.
Yeah, or even, just comparable. You know what I mean? Because I want it to have its own characteristics and its own sound, but it's got to be able to hang with everything else out there.
Yeah, and I think we talked briefly on this show about mixing things to like your audience and the platform they're going to be listening to it on, and. I think it was after I had fucked up with the panning. I forgot that kind of cardinal rule there, and I think it's really cool that they can do that. I remember you talking about how you can go to the different studios. I don't remember you telling me you could do like the car or
it's
the iPhone, all that kind of shit.
I honestly, man, if I recommend you buy anything, it's that over a new set of monitors. Like, because there's times where, I can go out of town and I just take my Mac Mini with me and I got the headphones. I can mix anywhere. It just sounds the same when I flip between them rooms.
Shit, that's crazy.
You can mix on a fucking airplane if you got a laptop. Like you're not like me to need an extra screen, but you could just right there, and you got all them fucking rooms.
Find a way to plug into the fucking screen on the back of the seat.
Yeah, there you go.
Do your
split
mixing.
screen, edit and mix windows.
Be like a tiny ass screen. Tony's like trying to. I got a 10-song album I got to get done by the time we land.
But yeah, it's if nothing else, just VSX. Yeah, spend the money on it, man. It's a game changer. It's unreal.
It's of the quality that you were obviously wanting and not wanting to step below to, but then efficiency, I'm sure it's helped there as well.
It's honestly because to properly treat a room, it's expensive. For mastering and mixing. I mean, tracking's one thing. It's like you could be like, oh man, this room here. This room sounds nice and tight. But if you run an analyzer on it or you go to mix an album on it, you're going to go out and it's going to sound different somewhere else because you got to learn the room.
Yeah,
or you got to
mixing in here is not
right
going to be perfect.
Yeah, so you almost got to learn those curves. But with VSX, you know what I mean? They've already done all that homework and there's multiple choices, different listening platforms. So it's
our generation loves multiple choice.
Yeah, and your generation and mine too wants it now. No one wants to put in the time.
Yep.
And it's like their studio in Dayton. We're actually spending the money to have that room tuned. We still got some more building to do to it.
How much is that nowadays?
I don't know. It depends on the size and what you're wanting.
Man, that shit's like.
But it's
expensive.
It's a necessity though, for an actual studio like we got out there. And but honestly, I mix at home on those headphones with VSX. I just
crazy to me.
Yeah, I work at home too for my job. Like that setup, it's a hybrid. Like I got my Mac Mini, but it's all ran into the same monitors as my work computer. So all I do is just basically change my inputs on my screen and turn my Mac Mini on, and then I'm mixing albums. Don't have to move nothing, change
On the
it.
clock.
No, I'm not on the clock. No, I just integrated everything because my wife's like, you only get this spot.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because she works from home too, so she's
Okay.
just set up in our bedroom. So I got this little tiny fucking spot in the clear on the other end of the house. I'm like, I got to find a way to make both of these work. And with the technology, like you said, it's simple, no brainer, man.
That's crazy to me.
I have a question not related to producing music. It's a question that we ask all of our musician guests who have toured, played live music. And it's usually one Tyler asks, but I want to ask it for him because I thought of it before he did. What has been the best show you've ever played live? You use the word best however you want. And what's been the worst show you've ever played live? Again,
man.
you choose worst. Some people have gone something that happened with the venue, or maybe they had a whoopsie, fucked up, did something. Or
The best would probably, there's been a lot of really good ones, man. But if I had to pick one, it would be when I was with Brad and them once Pure, and we won that Battle of the Bands and got to open up the Rockstar Mayhem tour. Yeah, that Marilyn Manson and Slayer and everybody's on. They had the main pavilion, and then they had the two sides, the Hot Topic stage and the Jaeger stage, where you had bands like Whitechapel or the Black Dahlia Murder, or Within the Ruins, or what's some of them other bands that you guys like, that 2008 era crabcore shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we got to open that up, dude, and then that was fucking sweet. I don't know how many people was there, but it was as far as the eye could see, dude. And we just played well. The sound was good, and it was fucking awesome.
And how old were you guys? Brad and Jay were in high school, weren't they?
No, Brad was probably fresh out there, because that was 2008, probably 2009, maybe. So I was 30, something like that. But
Was that the one where you guys got like really drunk?
We did that usually, just about all of them.
Because I think I remember you telling me about this show once, and you guys were all like nervous, and so you started drinking.
It may have been that one. I know we smoked a lot of weed back all the time. Yeah. They all run together. You know what I mean? We had some good times. But as far as the worst, oh fuck, dude, there's so many worse. I can't even define. Like, they've all had some bad situations, and it's like, how do you pick which one's the worst out of the bad situations?
Give us the best stories.
Yeah, there's always the typical one where you don't get paid. Of course.
Oh yeah.
That happened to You
got paid?
You got paid. You get paid to play.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
We're the ones that have to pay.
He's living it. Or, shows where people's at the last minute, one of the band members cancel, and then you still try to play it.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to think of what was. None of it's been to the point where it's like, I'm never doing this again. But
sure,
there's been some shitty stuff happen at, some of them. Hell, we played clear in Corpus Christi in a big ass theater, and there might have been 10 people there. So it's like, can you imagine being on stage in a theater with maybe 10 people? After driving fucking.
Is that one you didn't get paid?
Miles? We got paid, yeah, but it wasn't much.
Yeah.
And
was that just bad job out of the promoter?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. And it was on a Sunday. So, there's that too.
We just went to a Sunday concert.
Now, a fucking blast.
A little different story, but
there was one that was really fucked up that I played with Brad and them. I don't know what happened, but it was on what is that? Going towards Bloomingburg from Jeffersonville. It's a 734 or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. We got hired to play a fucking show, big ass party out there. It was going great and everything, and next thing you know, SWAT comes out of the cornfields and shit. Just starts swarming everybody. Fucking man, you see people throwing bags of weed and shit. And we're up there just playing, and it's like next thing you know, they cut the power, and I'm up there playing, and I'm like, "Fuck's wrong with my shit?" And I turn around and look, and there's no lights or nothing. Everything's off. Yeah, the cops like cut our fucking power, and that's not good for a two
No,
band.
hell
Right.
no, that's expensive.
You know what I
ass
mean?
Shit. Yeah.
So we're like, what in the fuck's going on, man? And then apparently someone tipped them off that there was known drug dealers there or something. I don't know. So,
Nothing like a sting at a metal show.
yeah. So and then they told us basically get your shit and get out now, or you're getting arrested too. And we're like, well, we're just a band, so we had to load stuff up, and then stuff got broke.
Oh yeah.
That was probably the worst one. That was
That's a good. That's
crazy.
That's a good worst one.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, ask Brad about that next time you see him, man. It's be
That
like,
one, and then his dad told one about a big ass brawl that happened at a show. Those two
Yeah,
right
the
there
one
stick
where
out in
when
my
he
mind.
got his leg broke.
oh yeah, I was there
Yeah.
for that one too. Yeah, I wasn't playing there. I think I was just a spectator that night.
Yep.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are
the
those are two
sign,
of the better
road
The
ones.
sign.
And your uncle got hit in the head with a brick or the rock.
Yeah.
I've heard that one. Yep.
Those are always two things that I like to ask because everybody wants to talk about all the good stuff that's happened, but the bad stuff's the funny stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah, and then there's always like the bad stuff where you got to kick people out of the band, or you get fired or something. You know what I mean? That's always the dark side of
Yep.
it that no one talks
Got
about.
fired on my day off.
Yeah, right. Or like you show up to practice and there's some other fucking guy there, or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
you're going,
It's-
It's like the School of Rock.
yeah,
Fucking.
yeah,
He shows up. He's like, "Who the fuck's this guy?"
yeah.
that
You're
I'm
movie-
gonna start a new band.
You're out, Dewey.
You're
Yeah.
you're out, Dewey. Yeah.
I've had enough of the stage dives, the solos.
I had another question, and dipshit over here made me completely just
Good.
gone. See ya. Oh, I know what it was. You had touched briefly on new Johnny Lawless music.
Yeah.
So when's that coming out? This episode will not drop until at least a month.
Oh, it's gonna be.
So you got
We was talking
when,
about
when people hear this, if it's coming out within 4 or 5 weeks, then you're good. You're not going to be exposing any secrets.
right. Terry would like to have something out by New Year's Eve, but
Okay.
I mean if we keep moving like we have been, then we're definitely on track. But then you also got he's wanting to have physical copies, and you guys know how that shit
Yeah.
goes. That can take however long, artwork or whatever. You know what I mean? It's something can always tie it up, but optimistically speaking, if we went by his timeline, New Year's Eve, something like that,
Yeah.
maybe first of the year.
So are you working on anything new with any other projects or recording yourself, not recording for other people, like any of your own stuff?
No, not myself. Other than Johnny Lawless, that's the only thing that I'm working on currently.
Yeah. When is the next scheduled Lawless show?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Nope.
It'll be 24.
Yeah, we want to get the album done because we should have had it out by now, but life happens.
And these guys know how that goes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
set an idea for when you want to have something done. I mean, how many new songs are y'all working on that you want it done already? Or
We have
it just doesn't work
probably
like that.
8
fucking
to 10.
8 to 10 that we're working on.
I mean, you
now.
got a whole album worth of new stuff.
Of new once if we finish all these new songs, fuck, dude, we're gonna have like I think around 50 originals.
That's crazy.
Good God.
That's a big mark, man.
That is, dude.
There's a lot that have kind of just
Just been hanging out.
poof or gone.
Well, how old? There's how many songs? I mean, Jesus Christ, there's No Returns. 10 years old, isn't it?
10 or 12.
10 or 12 years old.
Yeah. End
But-
of Me is even older.
Yeah.
All the stuff off the first one, most of it was written when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Minus Trust Issues and Sarcasm. We ended up finishing one day while I was on leave.
Yeah. But Sarcasm got reworked a lot, didn't it? Wasn't
The
that one
music was we had written the music before I left for the Navy, so I was still in high school, but we could never write lyrics for it. We never found what we wanted. It wasn't until I was on leave one day and hung out with Sean that we were like, we're writing fucking lyrics to the song, and we had our energy drinks and we stayed up. It was hours, and finally there was a line that I had written that set Sean off, and he sat in his little fucking chair and made me play the riff a million times for about 20 minutes, and then he had the song written.
Yeah.
It was
Tony,
crazy.
what's the longest
deal.
you've ever shelved a song? Like from when the idea first came into your head to when it was done.
I got an album right now that on my hard drive with me and another guy that's collabed, and it's been sitting since 2008. It's a full album.
Really?
15
Wow.
fucking
A
years.
whole ass album just chilling out there for.
It's,
Are you ever gonna do anything with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that we'll go hard, and then we'll leave it sit, and we'll come back a few years later, and then it's almost like life getting in the way is kind of a good thing because it's pretty cool stuff.
Right.
It's like if Black Dahlia Murder had a fucking child with like a crabcore band, but then he also threw some Arch Spire in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some really technical stuff, there's 8-string stuff on there.
Ooh.
Bro, I
a
mean,
lot
an
of
8-string is
strings,
just like
man.
a 7-string with one more string.
Yeah,
you know?
one more lower gauge, yeah. But
That's what an 8-string and a 9-string
yeah.
is basically, just an 8-string with one
Just had
one more string. Theo Von.
It's garglies, but
It's gargles.
yeah, but like it's
15 years. Wow.
yeah.
I'm kind of curious what it's like playing bass, because I know you've played bass
I was
for other
gonna
bands.
ask you.
I know that you've played drums for
God
other
knows he wouldn't
bands,
know.
but at your core, you're a guitarist,
Right.
and now you're playing bass.
I'm going to answer this honestly because we actually talked about this with Terry and them. I hate it. I fucking hate playing bass. There, I said it.
It is the condom of the fucking band.
it
Nobody
is,
wants to
dude.
use it, but you
It
got
is that. I mean, because I'm a guitar player.
Right.
Nothing against the instrument, and a great bass player is few and far between, for someone that plays it right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's gotten me up shit creek because I'm not trying to play guitar on it. I'm just playing bass. And I'm like, imagine this, guys. If Johnny Lawless had 3 guitars. Kind of like them old fucking Southern rock, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Skinner had like
bet you
6 of them
fucking killed
motherfuckers.
the ending solo to
yeah,
Freebird.
you see what I mean? It's like, look how fast you guys are like, ding.
Because
And-
you and Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Jeremiah's no bitch
Yeah,
on that guitar.
Dude,
yeah,
Jeremiah, no
dude,
bitch.
right.
He can shred, dude.
Yeah, he can
That
fucking
telly,
play,
he's
dude.
got that gold top telly or whatever
He got
it
rid
is.
of that already.
Oh, that thing was sharp.
Oh,
man.
dude,
So-
Terry's leather rough.
Yeah, y'all
That
could
Yeah,
he's got
dude.
fucking
y'all could
sick.
rip that shit up.
It's kind of like me. I don't know. I'm kind of being selfish, but but also I'm thinking the capability that we
Yeah.
could do by just you know what I mean. It kick it up a notch.
If
you
we
know?
take this 4-string guitar and add 2 more
Yeah.
strings,
and get some other fucking guy, to play the 4-string one. Yeah,
Yeah.
But
Oh,
that's
man.
I don't know. I'm just like brainstorm. But I think that we're actually considering it. But we want to get this album done because we just haven't been that relevant in a long time.
Yeah.
So you don't find the joy. Well, I can imagine part of it too is it's pretty country. What you guys play?
Some of them fucking songs I don't like.
Outlaw country.
Yeah, some of them songs I do not like of the covers.
So like the bass on those songs, I can imagine being fucking boring as hell.
Yeah, I mean some of them's got some cool lines. Like there's one song. It's a Johnny Paycheck song. It's got slap bass in it,
Oh, no
Hell yeah.
way.
and it's pretty fucking cool. But we don't play it very often. And I'm like, the one
This is
song
the-
that I
this is
kind
the
of
one
like, man.
song.
Yeah, and they always kind of laugh because I'm like, this is the one that I actually like. We don't fucking
Fuck
play
you
it.
guys.
And the tracks
Make me
like,
play this fucking dick fiddle.
yeah, and that's so I'm like, guys, you're killing me, man. I'm over here going, boom, doom, 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 doom,
Yeah.
I'd be
kinda-
pissed.
But that's what it calls for,
Oh,
you know what I
dude,
mean? And
I
that's
couldn't.
what was needed. But the stuff that we
You might as well play it on a cello.
yeah. But the stuff that was written, you know what I mean? They had it written before I. 'Cause
I bet
actually
you would
was
have
doing it.
fun playing the shit that I write for some of these Screaming Evidence songs.
Well, yeah, you got to keep it interesting, And that's like the stuff I wrote for the album. It's like, it's not the typical doom, doom,
Yeah,
It's
because that shit'll make you kill yourself.
yeah. But sometimes it sounds really cool, depending on the riff, the part. Because
I
sometimes
mean,
it
if
makes.
you have a Rickenbacker,
Yeah.
I mean,
Makes the-
everything
yeah.
sounds cool.
Oh well, yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's I
What
would
are you
like
playing?
one on bass.
Yeah.
Well, I was playing a Charvel till it got
Interesting.
fucked up. But now I'm playing Jeremiah's bass. He got it from Rod West. I think it's a cheapie, but it's got custom wound pickups or something like that in it. It sounds better than the Charvel did.
Huh.
I guess, respect. Okay.
So yeah, it's but like I said, I'm trying to coax them into letting me switch, and getting somebody else in there that's their thing, and so I can do my thing and see where it takes us. Because I like playing our stuff, but there's some of the covers I don't like. But I mean, it's nothing I haven't told them before,
Right.
Well, they're going.
I figured.
I
I can imagine if they didn't expect you to be a little vocal about disliking that shit.
You guys fucking
Yeah.
suck at your job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come down
They
there and
were
beat
wrong.
that fuck out.
well, they knew, me.
They know you.
Yeah, they know me, and I mean, it's some of it's grown on me, but there is some of it that I can't really get into at all, and I don't like playing it, But if that's what the people want, hell, we played a party, for some, I won't throw any names out, but guy we went to school with, just some farmers, man, and that's all they wanted to hear was just the covers.
Honky tonk.
Yeah, they didn't
kinda covers.
much care so much for our stuff, but like the covers they just kept Venmoing us money to keep playing, and then giving us cash. I mean, I think I walked
What
away.
am I doing with my
I walked
life?
away with $700 myself that night.
Jesus Christ.
You're not playing country music in a Southern Ohio farm community.
I mean, I can maybe get over some doom.
That's what I was meaning. Yeah, I've never played somewhere where they just kept throwing money at you. Like they gave us $1,500 just to come out and do it.
Yeah.
Right off the rip. And then while we was there, play another half an hour here.
You
Boom.
were stripping, is what you were doing.
Essentially, yeah.
You were
Yeah,
stripping.
exactly. Yep.
That's
So-
what you were doing. You were
Shit.
whoring yourselves out through music. Yeah.
I mean, I might take my shirt off for $700.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
man. I mean,
You ever
it's
seen the money that strippers make at high-end strip clubs?
I'm not a high-end strippers, but
got to
You're
start
not-
somewhere.
I'm
you
telling
gotta
you.
start somewhere.
And I'm not talking
Goals.
about the Tuesday nighters at Diamonds, okay? I'm talking about the Friday nighters at the
Yeah,
Bellagio.
they're making more than I do.
Yeah, he don't mean the ones that's just stripping at the buffet.
No, yeah.
Did somebody say chocolate?
God.
What are they selling?
No, I'm not talking about Eunice. All right, I'm talking about
Yeah, bullet wounds.
You remember Cody Brown? You had a C-section. She beat him with a belt. All right, I gotta tell a quick. I gotta tell a
That's some
quick
funny
story. I've been to strip club one time in my life. I am 28 years old. Am I 28? How old are you?
You're 28.
I'm 28. All right. I've been to a strip club one time in my life, and it was on my 18th birthday. And me and him. And
I never went.
You weren't there? Oh shit! I could have swore you were there. It was me, Caden, Cody Brown. Shit, I can't. There was a couple other dudes. We're like, oh, it's your 18th birthday. We're gonna go to Diamonds.
Oh,
All right,
shit.
cool, whatever. So and Quentin, we go in there, and I'm like, okay. And back, everybody's smoking in there. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they didn't give a shit. So the whole place smelled like cigarettes. And I mean, it was like a Friday night. So most of the girls there were, A squad, whatever. And about 30 minutes into it, I'm like, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever done in my life. I'm giving someone money to get it this far away from my face and not be able to do it.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
it. So I wasn't having a good time. But anyways, so we go to leave, and one of our buddies is getting his last dance, and he's drunker than shit. And he points at her stomach. He goes, man, you had a C-section, didn't you? This woman, she's like, oh yeah, and then she's like, let me have your belt. And he takes his belt off. She throws him down on the stage, sits on the back of his head, and whips him with his belt.
Oh, he should have kept that one to himself.
I'm like,
And the belt.
oh, bro. He's walking out holding his ass. He was walking out holding his ass like, oh, God. Probably shouldn't have said something about her scar, eh?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't think he should have. I didn't mean to sidetrack us, but God, that story fucking never gets old to me. That was the first and last time I've ever been to a fucking strip club. Dumbest establishment ever. So stupid.
Yeah, they're different.
But anyways, I have one final question for you, Tony, and then if these guys have anything else to ask you, I'm gonna let them have at it. But before I forget it, I'm curious, what, like, if any, other music genres do you listen to outside of rock or metal? Is there any other area where you like to dip your toe in, you know, as a change of pace? Or
Yeah. I like, man, a lot of the cool 80s stuff that's not hair metal or any of that. There was a lot of cool shit
never
back
gonna
then.
give you up.
Yeah.
Never gonna let you. Dude,
Everyone
yeah.
listens to, you know, shit that you listen to when no
Whitney.
one's around. Rick
Whitney.
Astley.
Who?
Rick Astley.
Rick Astley. Yeah. Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson. Like,
Yeah, a lot of that stuff was cool.
Were
you know?
Hall & Oates,
The
were they
Outfield.
80s?
Yeah.
I love Hall &
Yeah.
Oates.
Hall & Oates were like
That
Hall
shit
&
hits,
Oates,
man.
bro.
You know,
Were
it's
they? I thought they were
good
80s.
times. You know, and I might even dabble into like country once in a while,
Yeah, me
depending
too.
on, you know. I like Keith Urban,
Love
Keith Urban.
killer guitar player,
Yeah,
man.
man.
You know.
He shreds.
So I mean, I'll venture off the path once in a while.
We a lot of
70s
us.
What,
shit.
what kind of modern metal do you get into nowadays?
Archspire,
Yeah,
they're one of
I've
my favorite
listened to them
bands.
very briefly.
Yeah, them. Trying to think of newer that hasn't already been out.
No metalcore whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, what do you define metalcore as? Like,
It's weird term nowadays.
So
it
basically,
feels like.
it's hardcore having sex with thrash metal, and death metal is watching from the corner.
so like what?
I don't know,
band,
metalcore
Well,
nowadays.
the old ones were like Kill Switch and Bullet and As I Lay Dying and
Okay.
Parkway and
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
I was into all them. Yeah,
Okay.
But newer ones are you know bands we talk about ad nauseum on this show,
Make
like
Them Suffer,
make them
Polaris,
suffer, make them suffer closer to
North
deathcore,
Lane.
I think. But yeah,
Methcore. Yeah, make them suffer. Yeah, I remember
you almost said methcore.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
Love meth.
Methcore.
well, I actually produced a band called Methorama.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, death metal.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's Make Them Suffer. Yeah, they've been out for a while, ain't they?
They've been doing it for
2008 or
a decent
so?
amount of-
Yeah, they've been
That's
doing it
right.
for a while. I don't know if it's been that long, but they've been doing it for a while. They just signed a Sharp Tone, so they're
Okay.
with a big label now.
label.
So independent, but the biggest, arguably, I would say the biggest. I mean, UNFD is coming up really big too, but no, some bands like that. I mean, if you know, I like deathcore.
Mm-hmm.
So like Dying Wish, Slaughter to Prevail,
I like Slaughter to Prevail.
Lorna Shore,
See, I like their I can never fucking say it.
Maleficent.
Yeah, Maleficium or whatever it is. I like that EP, but I don't like the new shit that everybody's just
Yeah.
freaking out. over.
over.
Yeah, I don't
fucking-
freak out about them. I think that Slaughter to Prevail is better.
Oh yeah, they're a killer band.
Yeah, I really
Killer
like.
band.
I mean, because they're true deathcore to me.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of that metalcore like vibiness and some of the
Yeah,
riffs.
that
It's not all-
bounce. Yeah.
yeah, you get some bounce and some. Bro, 1984 is so bouncy,
Mhm.
and I'm like, but it's that deep guttural nasty fucking growl. So
Yeah.
it's a good blend for me.
Yeah.
I like to dip my. You eating more fucking cookies?
Mm.
It's so tempting. I love cookies.
Grab a cookie, dog.
Dude,
say
it's
no,
not
man.
the weekend, bro.
Gotta
I
say
am
no, bro.
not cheat. I do not cheat on my diet on the weekend. Stop. You're not. I'm not gonna do this on camera. Okay.
I will.
He's like,
Bro, you could eat that whole box of cookies. Bro, I'm the only motherfucker you know that could gain weight on Naked and Afraid. You could eat that whole box of cookies right there and lose weight. So suck it. Okay.
It's good for me.
It's good for you. You guys have anything else you want to run by Tony?
I'm curious. Are we able to get in a little gear talk? By
We
this
have
point?
like 3 or 4 times. Go ahead.
Okay. Excuse me. Give me a second. My mouth's dry as shit.
Great time to ask a question, dumbass.
Yeah. Thought I was ready. Favorite amp of all time?
Like just
5150 block
The
letter.
Yes, sir.
Is it really?
Yeah, the original. The
I've
block
still
letter.
never played an original block letter.
I think mine's a version 2 or something.
Yeah, well, that's probably number 2. But yeah, the block letters, man. It's like a Mesa by itself. It's just a really good foundation.
Okay.
But man, to me, it's like you run one of those through either a Marshall 1960 412 cab, or a Mesa Boogie cab, like a rectifier cab,
Yep.
and a tube screamer in front. Man, you're fucking gold. I've never heard that those combinations sound bad on anything.
Yeah.
You know.
So do you think like boutique amps like a say a Fortin.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're like outrageous compared to, say I guess a Hughes and Kettner's boutique as well. Is it boutique or boutique? I don't know.
Potato.
Okay. A standard EVH line or a Mesa line. Like, do you feel like a Fortin is so much better than something like a dual rec or a 5150 or?
I wouldn't say better. I mean, to me, it's a preference thing. It depends on the player and what they like. Because I don't think any one is better than the other.
Okay.
Quality wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Fortins are more of a. They're kind of like an Engel or something like that, to where it's got its own sound and its own flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a desired sound and flavor. Those kind of amps kind of sound closer to what you would get with like a 5150 block later after you do a few things, with it.
Okay.
They're just mean amps and they have just their own character.
Yeah, a weird thought I've always had, and I think I had called Tyler about this a long time ago because it never made sense to me. Once I guess became a gearhead and started trying to learn about all this shit, I buy a $2,000 fucking amp. Why do I got to put a tube screamer in front of it to sound like I want it to? Why? It's $2,000 fucking dollars.
Why?
Yeah,
I've never understood that. As stupid as it sounds.
It depends on what kind of amp you're talking.
I don't know. Say I bought a 5150. That's this great metal amp, and I haven't played an original block letter by itself. But of course, you always see people boosting it with a tube screamer.
Mm-hmm.
If it's this amazing fucking amp, why's it got to have a fucking pedal added on? You know what I mean?
I think it's one of those things where they put it out. It was kind of based around Eddie. Which Eddie was a big, at the time when I think he got with Peavey, he was using Soldanos.
Yeah.
Which they're another thing like that,
Yep.
You put some things with them, they sound phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where they do their own. I think,
if I'm not mistaken, the Soldano was the original 5150, right?
That was based, They kind of based everything on that. But I think a lot of these companies get them to where they sound phenomenal, but they're so versatile. So you can't really go into it as looking like, I'm going to buy this off the shelf and it's going to sound exactly the way I like it. Because nothing, guitars, anything's going to do that for you.
Okay.
At all. I mean, even a Kemper. I use a Kemper. It's got, at any given time, I usually keep 600-700 different amps on there. It'll hold 1,000.
Yeah.
There's times where it's like, I'll switch to a different profile just for something different, and I always have to tweak it. It's never.
You still have to tweak it.
Yeah. Because it's somebody else's idea of a great tone.
Yeah.
Just like the creator of the amp might be like, to me, this is fucking money.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, this is money, but it just needs this or that. And then that's when I throw this.
Just a little more dongle.
Yeah.
Okay. A little more bonkle. Add a little more bonkle to that.
So think of it as like, I don't know, a really good foundation, but it also has got its own flavor, like the Fortins and, the Engels and all that. Like, Engel Savage is one of the most, ferocious sounding amps, I think, depending on what you mix it with. I've heard guys make them sound just insane, man.
Yeah, I've always been like, what the fuck, man? I spent $2,000 on an amp, and here I am boosting it with this pedal or having to do this to it. And I'm like, why is that the case? Well, and I understand we all have a different ear. And I'm saying all of this as I actively boost all my amps with tube screamers and shit. So I'm a hypocrite, I guess, but it just never made sense to me.
You're just doing what everyone else does, You're just kind of getting out of the amp what you want.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's no different than adding effects pedals or whatever,
Yeah.
But, because I don't think I've ever plugged into an amp and been like, that's it. Yeah. There it is, you know what I mean? Not without doing all kinds of different shit to it or modding like that. The 5152 that you got, that's completely modded, biased hot. I mean, that amp, you notice how you turn it on, you fry an egg on it in a matter of about a minute.
Yep.
Yeah, I had it.
She gets warm.
So
I had it done that way on purpose.
The 6505, was that when that was still made by Peavey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that's the 6505 is a Peavey. Is that just like the second version of a 5150?
Dude went to Fender and took the name with him, and then
Peavy made the
Kept-
6505
kept
when
making the same
when
amp,
Eddie
but had
went
to
to
call
Fender.
it something else.
Okay, that's
because
what happened.
they had been in business 65 years, and it was the year 2005 when he left.
Okay.
So they combined that. So it's a 5150. Well, all the way up until they started making them in China.
Okay.
They sound different. If you find a 6505 from China, stay away from it. It's a fizzy piece of shit.
Okay.
But yeah, up until that point, I mean, they was made same circuitry,
It
same
was the
assembly
same
line.
thing. I didn't know that. Okay.
Because he went to just like Tyler said, to Fender,
I knew that
And
was the
that's-
case, but I didn't know.
and that's
why they
where you
were
got the EVHs
3-4
because
amps.
that's actually a Fender.
Fender. Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, Eddie Van Halen, bro.
The best to ever live.
Mm.
Oh yeah, no one on the planet's done for guitar or music what he's done.
No,
Oh yeah.
no, I don't think so.
Who's your
Jimi Hendrix.
No way, not even close.
This thing called distortion that he was like, this is awesome, and no one else is using it. I'm going to do it.
But the guitars from the Who did it before he did.
Pete Townsend.
Cut the screen, or not the Who. What the hell's that band called?
Pretty sure it was the Who.
No, it wasn't the Who. Dude cut a speaker with a razor, and that's how he got it. I'll think of it here in a minute
Pretty sure it
when
was
I'm
the
not
Who.
trying to think of
I
it.
remember seeing it on
It wasn't. Oh
on
hell!
like a
what the hell's-
documentary.
Wasn't Keith Richards? You're thinking Keith Richards? You're thinking of?
it's
Is it?
oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. I know it'll happen, but Eddie.
70s, 60s band? Well,
Oh yeah,
okay,
60s. Yeah, you're talking like way back.
No, I think Eddie is solidly top 5, but I do not have him at number 1. My
he's-
number 1 has always been Stevie Ray Vaughan.
For playing, yeah, but with Eddie, you got to look at the whole picture, like not
The
just
entire
playing.
body of work, yes.
Tone, like for
gear
just for
head,
guitar,
kinda
yeah,
like-
all
yeah.
that. Like he
Dude,
was
the
just
thing about Eddie is
tearing shit up.
I think he is more closely comparable to somebody like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Dude, look at some of the chords that he plays, like the
Oh,
chord
yeah.
in metal
Yeah.
songs playing or hard rock songs, whatever you want to call it. Those
Yeah.
fucking jazz chords that he's picking out.
he just had his own tone. Like he was the first guy to really come up with the attenuator thing.
Mm-hmm.
He'd fucking crank his amps and he'd use the attenuator for his volume. And he'd burn an amp up in a matter of a couple months. Like Marshall JCM 800s, and
Yeah.
he was the first guy to figure that out. He was the first guy to bring finger tapping to the forefront.
Yep.
He was the first guy to, come up with the detuna. He was the first guy to experiment with winding his pickups different, just changing the angle.
Frankenstrat,
Yeah. To me, he's number one. I mean, sure, there's better guys out there. There might be more innovative guys, but I don't know, man. Like what he did on those first 4 or 5 albums as a guitarist for me, from experimenting with cutting shit up and building stuff, and to the stuff that he played, and like I just, for me, it's I cannot whole package put anybody else.
Yeah, if you look at
above
him
that.
from an innovation standpoint, then that's where I
Yeah.
would tend to be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I get it there. Because from an innovative standpoint, it's hard to think of another one that brought more to the game or tried more things and
Right.
revolutionized certain things than he did. I'm sure all the listeners out there have their own thoughts, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
but no, that's fair. I get it from that standpoint. But yeah, I just love Stevie. I think Stevie. is
Stevie's
one of the
phenomenal,
most
man. Yeah.
Naturally
Insanely
talented
killer.
musicians that's ever drawn a breath.
Yeah, he's
So-
like them guys like him and Steve Vai. Like you just watch him play, and it's almost like the guitar is just another,
crazy.
Just
like
there.
a finger
Yeah.
Crazy.
attached to their body.
It's-
Like it's just, yeah, it's mind melding just to watch.
Crazy, bro. And there's this video on YouTube that you can look up. I think it's literally called Stevie Ray Vaughan warming up. This dude walks on a stage, in an empty theater or whatever. He goes, he just snorted a fat ass line of coke. Looks like he just woke up, and he's got this big fur coat on. He's like, all right, ready, let's go. And he just starts playing Scuttlebutton, which is just an intro song for him, and it's fucking insane. And I'm like, dude, I know you just got out of bed, did a line, put a coat on, and walked on this stage.
Yeah.
And insane.
You're ready to go.
Dude snaps a string mid-song and just changes up the key so he doesn't even miss a note,
Yeah.
and then does a guitar change in between a little teeny half-second fill, and it just some of the stuff that he was able to do was just
Fucking
crazy.
impressive. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
He
Oh,
was-
it just makes me want to cry myself to sleep. But yes,
Yeah. He was
Get your chops
phenomenal.
up, player.
what?
Yeah.
Get your hamstrings up, playa.
Passive or active pickups?
Depends on the application.
Okay, for metal music.
It's a
For
very
metal music?
political
Metal
answer.
music.
Man, I don't know. I've had pretty good luck with a lot of different things.
What are you playing right now? Most.
Fishmans in all my guitars.
Yeah.
Fluences. But you can they act like a passive when you
They
back
do.
them down and stuff, you know. But I don't know, you know, like we was talking about earlier, EMGs, they're cool for just, you know, heavy fucking
Yep.
rhythms.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. It's really tough to pick one or the other. For leads, I think I like
Passive.
passive better.
More organic.
Yeah.
To me, it feels that way too.
You know, I like a 59, a Seymour Duncan 59
Yep.
for neck.
Yep.
You know, and then for a bridge, you know, like maybe a what's that one Seymour Duncan I used to a JB.
JB.
JB,
Yeah,
Yep.
the Jeff
Yep.
Beck. Yeah, that's a great combination. But I mean, for metal rhythms, that's why I like Fishmans. You know, they're pretty universal.
They are.
You can put them in a guitar and you're good for live and recording.
Right.
Well, and you have voicings.
Yeah.
You have different voicings for them.
I've
too,
always
which is
preferred
really cool.
active myself, just from the standpoint of one, that's pretty much all I've ever played, and two, rhythm guy.
Yeah, nice and hot when you need them to be.
I want them spicy.
Yeah.
Better have a whole lot of all the gain, all the punch.
Yeah, I was always
Seymour Duncan blackouts.
I
Yeah.
was always an active player.
Yeah. Till recently.
Yeah, I mean I had when I bought the LTD Eclipse or whatever the hell it's called. That's when I first got into Fishman Moderns.
It had EMGs in it when you bought it, though, didn't it?
No, this one came with Fishman.
Okay, that's right.
But before that, I always played EMGs. Always played EMGs because I was playing nothing but metal for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fishmans did a bunch of research when I bought that guitar, and I bought that guitar because it had Fishmans in it too. Loved them, but once I got into the band setting, for some reason I wasn't crazy about the clean tones. They're real glassy, but I don't know, like
What enough
it's
clarity?
stupid. Like
Yeah,
no, there was clarity, but like artificial sounding. Only for clean tones.
like plasticky or something.
Yes, plastic like.
Yeah.
Spacey.
And he
like,
had always thought that. I think specifically for
I
clean
fucking hated
tones.
your Fishmans.
Still got them. But then I had bought a different guitar, and I put bare knuckles in it. If you're familiar with bare
Yeah.
knuckle, and they're passive, and one
Phenomenal.
because they're a boutique pickup, they're expensive, but like I was getting the gainy, chunky ass tones that I wanted.
But your clean was.
But my cleans were warm, but they poked through, and they just felt smoother for some reason, if that makes any sense.
yeah, his cleans are.
So, I mean, if I have the
Outstanding.
choice, I won't play another. Like, if I'm going to buy a guitar and it's got to have certain pickups, I won't play anything other
Keep in
than
mind,
bare
he is a
knuckles.
very
Really?
trendy guy,
I
too.
fucking love them.
He's
I
a
love 'em.
very trendy guy.
I've been playing them for 4 years now.
He
Really?
was he
4
was
years. I fucking
firmly
love 'em.
on the meat ride of
I
Fishman's
was,
for a
I
while,
was.
and then
Yep.
switched it. So he's very trendy,
Well, I
but
had
he
a set
keeps
of,
up with him. He keeps up
Yeah.
with him. So
Well, I had a set of bare knuckles that came in a Prestige, and the green one I got at home, and I couldn't stand them.
What ones? Do you remember? Aftermath?
Was they Brutes or something?
Brute,
like that?
Brute Force, I think they're called.
Yeah, I think they came with the guitar from the factory.
Okay.
They just sound tinny and fucking nasally almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
I fucking hated the way those things
I've
sounded.
heard a lot
Spanky.
of people say that about the Juggernauts.
Yeah, just nasally. I've never heard a pickup take my tone and just make
Did
bad
it sound like you were,
frequencies
like,
poke out.
scooping
Yeah.
the mids. Like there
It
was,
was-
no punch. When you say nasally, that's what I think is
well,
like
it was like
mid scoop, no punch.
not even a scoop. It's actually like a boost, almost like you went. I don't know, maybe to
Like ice picky?
6 to 800K, and you did like a fucking real real tight shelf and boosted it, kind of like
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean. It was just a weird fucking sound,
That's
man. And
weird.
I
And you couldn't
hated
figure,
it.
and it was the pickups. It wasn't anything
Oh
else.
yeah. I ended
Yeah.
up putting Fishman's in it, and that guitar screams.
Yeah. For metal
It's got
rhythm
the-
tones, the Fishmans are legit, dude.
It's got the kill switch engage
the
set.
kill
in that
switch
one.
set. Okay. Yeah, mine are just the regular
Yeah,
modders.
they've never been hurting for tone in 20 years.
No, dude. No.
Yeah,
They had it from the
never
get-go.
been
that's one problem they've never had to worry
They had
about.
it from
No.
the get-go.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They've
Them
also
fucking-
never made a bad album. So.
Yeah. No, you're right. Them fucking Framus heads, man.
Framus, yes, they
Jesus
did play
Christ,
Framus
dude.
heads.
So I'm going to ask you a gearhead question just here real quick. In your opinion, if you think back to like your childhood, or not, maybe your young adulthood, who back in the day had just the best tone
I was going to
of
ask.
the time?
Dimebag Daryl.
Yeah, that's fair. There was only
Dimebag
one.
Daryl.
I mean, there was only one.
Yep.
I mean, that was it. Like you knew Dime when you heard
Oh
it.
yeah. No mistake. No mistake at all. Any song, you could play 3 seconds of any of his licks, and you're like, Dime.
Yeah,
No
And it's
questions.
Such a hard. I mean, not now with technology, but that would have been such a hard tone to replicate.
Yeah, man.
like-
It's well, that was that period of time when a lot of guys was using racks full of shit, outboard gear, like all their effects was a separate rack, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And I loved the guitar processor sound, like bands like White Lion, using those
Yeah.
digital preamps. They wasn't even using amps; they was using power amps with
Yeah.
all them digital racks of just Vi, all of them. Guitar tones back then were just fucking thick, man. They sounded awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Well, it's funny.
It's-
Like if you think about like Metallica, every album has an
different
iconic
guitar
tone.
Mhm.
Every album has an iconic tone.
yeah,
Dime Man, he was able to make the same guitar tone sound perfect on record after record after record.
and they got better with each one.
Yeah.
Like it was like, man, this is killer on Cowboys. Then fucking Far Beyond Driven. It's like whoa,
Vulgar.
and dude, yeah, or yeah,
Great-
Vulgar, and then
Great
Far
Southern
Beyond
Dream Kill.
Driven. Yeah,
Yeah.
that fucking dude, that album, man, Far Beyond Driven. That's the most aggressive guitar tone
It is gnarly.
that I've ever heard, man.
I've said it a million times. Pantera carried metal in the 90s, man.
Oh yeah, if it wasn't for them, it'd have been a
Done.
fucking wash. And
Yep.
that's why I can't stand. I just don't like bands like Soundgarden,
Nirvana.
Nirvana,
Yeah.
Alice in Chains. None of that shit, man.
Man, I figured you'd like.
love
I figured you'd
Chains.
like
Nope.
Chains.
Really?
No.
Jerry Cantrell just,
He's a great guitarist. I just don't like that kind of music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
that's fair. And I
don't-
thought Jerry had great tone too. Friedman.
he did. Yeah, he did. He had a great tone. It's just that movement, the image, the just the way the songs were written. I don't know, man.
Oh, they
was-
tried to kill
Did
metal.
you feel like
And
it
that's what
was-
happened. It
Yeah.
fucking sucked. I lived it. You know what I mean? Like
right?
watching the bands that I was starting to love, because you got to think about it, man. I was cutting my teeth on guitar, and I had a good solid 6-7 years maybe
Yeah.
of all my guitar heroes, hearing them on the radio and shit. And all of a sudden, they was just chopped liver to this
Right.
fucking guy
Yeah.
in a flannel
Yeah.
playing 3 fucking chords.
Oh, dude, I fucking hate Kurt Cobain. Let's
Oh, no,
hop on that
dude.
train, buddy.
So were
I
you
think
like in
Nirvana
a spot?
fucking sucks.
One good thing about Kurt Cobain, though, is he had good aim.
Yes, he did. He is. They call him the one-shot kid. He did not miss.
Damn.
Mayhem would have put him on an album cover.
Y'all
On the-
fucking killing me.
Let's
No,
take Dead
no.
off the album cover and put him on the
Yes. Yeah.
So
Same
was-
thing.
at the
Same,
time-
same thing.
Exactly, dude.
At the time, was it like it's either fucking full on metal or hair metal to you? And then when the grunge movement came in, it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because what was shitty about it was, I mean, how fast it completely murdered.
I mean, my dad said this has told me
It-
he's like this fucking gay ass grunge shit is what he always called it. Came
It was
out of
terrible,
nowhere
man.
And
You
just
start,
killed the.
yeah, your kids come to school with the fucking flannels and all this shit.
Yeah.
The radio stations just beating it down your throat. It changed the way
No
that
way.
we seen everyday life, man. You know, as a kid.
You went from feeling like the in crowd to feeling like an outcast. I'm sure
Well, I
from
mean,
a music standpoint.
Yeah, from a
like,
music standpoint, definitely, because I was still listening to shit. But I mean, it sucked, man. It really
Yeah.
did. 'Cause to me, that kind of music was really thoughtless
I agree.
compared to what
I
what
agree.
we had been listening to. It was new, you know what I mean? So I mean, it was like looking back, yeah. I mean, the scene probably needed the enema, but it wasn't cool to live through it. It sucked ass, you know what I mean?
That's fair.
Man,
guy's
it's
fucking-
just so weird. Not Nirvana, but like some of those other bands. Like I fucking loved growing up though. Fucking loved them. Like, and not even like guitar playing wise, because I knew that they weren't doing anything crazy, but just some of the like Black Hole Sun and
see, I can't But I came from listening to Rust in Peace, Megadeth,
Yes,
Marty
sir.
Friedman, all that shit.
That is one of the best metal records of all time, bro.
And then you go listening to something like that, you know what I mean? And it's just like,
love Rust
I
in
think
Peace.
for me it was just because it might have been because
fucking amazing, dude.
I was so into thrash metal because of Metallica. It's what I loved.
Yeah.
But being around my dad, he was literally into everything. So I heard it. Whatever it was, I heard it. Old school R&B, old school hip hop, thrash metal, hair metal, fucking Cinderella ballad type shit. Like I had it all.
Love Cinderella.
And I'd never like truly hated anything other than I don't know that
You
I've
don't
ever
really hate,
hated
no.
anything. No.
I was just, for me, when I was younger, like, I was a picky little bastard. Like, when Metallica put out the Black Album,
You were
I
one
was
of those guys that was pissed, weren't you?
I was pissed. Like, how do you go from, your last fucking 3 or 4 albums?
Was it Justice before that?
Was before
Yeah,
that.
that was the
a
last
rager.
one before that.
Justice is a rager nonstop.
Yeah, it is, man. Well, all their albums really was from Kill 'Em All the way up to Justice for All. And I mean, even now, I hate to say this, but like even the Black Album, all them songs are good.
Oh,
Dude,
I
they're
just-
so fucking good.
I just
fucking
don't
Those
good,
songs
bro.
are so fucking good,
That-
man.
I was just pissed though
You
because
were
they
pissed
didn't put out
because-
Justice for All again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like,
You
I
were
bet
waiting
you were
on
really
another-
pissed
you were
for
waiting-
Load and Reload. And
oh, I
bet you
quit
hated
listening
that
to him by
shit.
then, man.
Yeah, we loved
We
it,
loved
bro.
it.
We loved it.
Loved
There wasn't any Metallica that we didn't like because it felt like we could
Except
listen
for
to.
Saint Anger. I mean,
Yeah,
we weren't crazy
and then
about
I
it.
go back and I revisit Saint Anger and I'm like, it's really not as bad as I thought it was. Like,
Yeah.
that was like a hardcore
version of them.
That was like
yeah.
a hardcore Metallica.
I don't know, man. Like for
Drunk
me,
James, bro. Just let me.
like honestly,
Rampage.
I didn't even after the Black Album. I really didn't even listen.
It's fair.
Didn't even. I was like, I'm not even gonna waste my time. You know what I mean? Because it was just.
Boom, bam, 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 boom, bam, boom,
It's not wasting my time. or
No,
wasting
I don't
my-
think so.
No, it's not.
Oh man, I got that stuck in my head now, and I loved those Metallica albums that all the people
I
your
get
age
so
hated.
sick of hearing about Metallica on this show
He hates Metallica.
because I don't fucking like them. And that's all these two ever want to talk about is
Well,
Metallica.
we already told you on this show you're a fucking asswipe, so doesn't matter.
And you know what's funny? You're always on the odd end of that argument.
Uh,
No matter who's sitting on
No
the
matter
couch.
who's sitting on the
No
couch.
matter who's
Yep.
sitting on the fucking couch, you're always the odd man out. But can we listen to like The Fray or something? How
Hey, I
about
love The Fray.
what's that fucking band he
love The
likes that I
Fray.
can't stand? What's the name of them?
Not sure.
Which one?
Your favorite? What's
There's
their
a
name?
lot.
Thrice.
Movements,
Thrice.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love Thrice.
Can we listen to some Thrice, please, sir? Yeah.
Wait, we haven't really. You've pretty much hinted that you liked Metallica, but were you obsessed with Metallica as a kid, like maybe we were?
Till the Black Album.
Till the Black
Yeah.
Album, okay.
Oh yeah, man. I was-
Megadeth take over from there. That's
No.
where Megadeth thrived, bro. When
I don't
because
know,
they
man.
dropped Rust in Peace. Actually, I think it was the year
Countdown.
before the Black Album, but
But yeah, but then you had Countdown to Extinction,
Yeah.
which is good.
Euthanasia,
That's when it. To me, Countdown is when they started going.
Cryptic Writings. Yeah, I agree. Well, Countdown's incredible. I like
It
Cryptic
is.
Writings too. I like
Yeah.
a couple songs off Euthanasia, but they really bottomed out in the early 2000s. Then, like I think in the mid 2010s,
Yeah, like Risk and all that shit.
Dystopia. Like I really like all
Yeah.
the like. Washington is next. They had some killer songs off of some of those.
Yeah,
Their newest album,
United Abominations.
Yes,
That was a
United
great
Abominations. That's the album
It was
I'm
a great
thinking of.
album.
13 I really liked. The newest one I really
Newest one's
liked.
fucking killer.
Dude, they won 2 or 3
I
Emmys
need
on
to
one
fucking
song.
get into Megadeth.
Yeah, dude, their newest one.
Bro,
I've always liked Megadeth, but I've never like jumped into Megadeth.
I always
Oh,
did,
yeah.
just because I thought Dave Mustaine was a superior guitar player to Kirk.
yeah, he
Kirk
was.
Hammett.
He is.
He was.
Is.
Yeah.
always
What
will be.
I liked about Dave is that on his albums, whoever he got to play the other guitar, lead wise, he always picked somebody that could smoke him. He
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
smart.
Dude,
Friedman.
Friedman.
Right.
is-
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially.
Friedman, Chris Broderick,
Yeah, oh my God. Chris
Glenn
Broderick,
Drover,
yes.
Kiko.
Yep.
Now he's got Timu in the band,
I was gonna say Timu's with him now.
Jesus,
Yeah,
dude, that
Oh, yeah,
guy's-
he always.
and he's
that's the
young.
Dave never went out and looked for someone, whether it was because, I mean, up until last couple of years, he had this. I mean, Dave Ellefson was his bassist from start to a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Drummer, he's always had an elite drummer. He never went out and just got some Joe Blow to hop up on stage with him ever. You know what I'm saying?
He's always had fucking.
And Dave
upper
can
crust.
fucking shred, bro.
Yeah, Dave's killer.
Fucking shred. And I'm like, God damn, dude. Like, he didn't even need another guitar player, but he would go get someone better than him.
Yeah, he would.
That's
Every
just
single time, dude. He's always been the underdog guitarist in Megadeth.
It's crazy.
He
as far as
launched-
soloing goes, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he launched a lot of dudes' careers
Mm-hmm.
into the fucking sun, man. Just putting them on that stage.
Friedman's probably the one he's really did the biggest favor for.
Friedman's the
Now
one
he's-
that most people think of
Yeah.
when you think about Megadeth League. Chris Broderick is another one
Yeah.
that is fantastic.
It's just Friedman. No one sounds. His phrasing is what makes him such an insane guitarist,
Yeah.
man.
And Friedman was Rust in Peace.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's what I
Rust
thought.
in Peace, Countdown to Extinction, Euthanasia. I think he was on Risk.
Was he on it?
Yeah, I think that was the last album he was on.
It's fair. Which, I mean, some of the... Now, I like the 80s stuff, too.
Oh yeah, man.
Killing Is My Business, Peace Sells.
Those two are probably my favorite records.
Yeah, those are insane. The fact that Dave took... I can't remember which one it is. All Four Horsemen.
Oh yeah,
And
Mechanics.
this is my song. And
Yeah.
I'm going to take the exact same song, make a song called The Mechanic.
Yeah.
And it's going to be about nonsense.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to play
it twice
4
as
times
fast.
faster. Yeah, twice as fast. And
Yeah.
play all the super intricate shit that Kirk didn't want to play.
Yeah.
And make you look like bitches because you fired me. Like, that
Yeah.
was just so... On his debut
Was
album,
David
that was
drunk
so...
or something at the time?
Yeah, he was a drunk.
Oh yeah, he's had a rough way to go with drugs. Like on Peace Sells. I mean, that song. What song is it? Is it Bad Omen or The Conjuring?
Yeah.
That whole song is actually the lyrics are a spell.
Yeah.
He was into witchcraft and,
Yep.
devil worship and shit. And he won't
That's
play it
metal as
live.
fuck.
No,
won't
he
play
won't
it live.
because he's a born again Christian, I believe.
Yeah,
isn't
he said he
No,
doesn't
Yeah,
want
won't
to
play
be
that one
cursed
live.
or he's pretty. But yeah, that song's is a ritual.
That's
The
wild.
lyrics.
Dave's a badass.
Man, I
Yeah,
could sit
dude.
here and talk about all these guitar players.
Oh,
and
yeah. Tyler, do you have
I'm
anything?
trying to think of
you
a
wanna-
few more things.
Fine.
You guys lost me at Metallica.
No, that's fine.
We put his fire out.
Well, Tony, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for
on,
having
man.
me, guys. I
I
appreciate it.
appreciate you giving us your time on a Monday night to come out and sit with a
All
couple
good.
of screaming idiots and talk some shit. So appreciate your stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
Thanks
for
for
our
having me.
listeners, thank you as always for tuning in. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one and enjoy the rest of season 6. I think we're recording. Yes,
No clue.
sounds about right.
Something like that. Yeah.
So hope you guys enjoy the rest of it. As always, follow all of our socials at TSIS Podcast or just search the Screaming Idiots Show. And until next time, we are the Screaming Idiots. We'll see you next week.
Peace, love, dove.